This being a maximum security prison, we must make sure that we keep as the project comes, our prisoners must be secure. The community, yes, will benefit. So how do we make sure that we secure the prison and we make sure that the community outside is preparing? So we have gone to site, we have established where it is going to be put up.
Elsewhere, residents of Mukima in Segera Ward, Laikipia County, are living in fear after 2 stray lions killed domestic animals in the village. The lions, believed to have strayed from Loldaiga Hills, have caused havoc in the village, killing 4 cows in 2 nights.
Tunaililia. Sasa hii kitendo imefanywa asubuhi, jana tena iliua ng'ombe ingine 2, juzi iliua tena ng'ombe ya mama mwingine. Sasa tunauliza tukiwa kama wazazi na wakaaji wa Mukema, tutafanya nini hili jambo serikali iingilie kati? Sababu tuko na watoto kwa shule. Sasa siku hizi hata watoto wanaendanga saa ile jua iko juu.
Elsewhere, Nyamira Deputy Governor Dr. James Gesami has challenged elected leaders to serve the electorate or opt out. Dr. Gesami was recently appointed to the position, vowed to assist the residents improve their economic welfare without discrimination.
I want to work with you in fulfilling your mission for Nyamira County, which includes improving health services, strengthening agriculture, provision of clean water, opening up of roads, and further developing county government services.
And residents of Mumbui Ward in Machakos County have benefited from a water project officially launched by the county government. Machakos Deputy Governor Francis Maliti said the project will improve the livelihoods of residents as they will now enjoy fresh water for both domestic and commercial use.
Water project is part of the many water projects that we have commissioned in Machakos County to serve our people. So far, we have commissioned 670 bores in Machakos County.
Finally, Garissa County Health CC Robert Nuno has refuted claims that Northeastern Province Girls Secondary School has been closed over COVID-19 infection cases. Nuno said the health department will conduct mass testing in the school and 2 other Garissa Township schools to allay any fears from parents and guardians.
Now, on to matters business. The long wait for compensation of customers of insurance companies that went under is finally coming to an end as the Policyholders Compensation Fund kicked off yesterday, honoring the claims. Customers of Concord Insurance, which went under in 2013, are the first beneficiaries, with each being compensated up to 250,000 shillings.
Concord Insurance, that was underwriting private and commercial motor businesses, was placed under statutory management in 2013 after it failed to settle claims and meet other financial obligations.
But we're happy to report that the law has changed now, such that we can be able to compensate those policyholders immediately a company goes under, of course, in the unfortunate event that they cannot be able to meet their obligations.
1,572 that had insured with Concord Insurance are to be compensated.
The fund, in the current financial year of 2021-2022, we have set aside 1 billion shillings for compensation of policyholders. Now, this first phase of compensating Concord will be to a tune of 390 million shillings.
Despite this, only 30 have so far lodged claims to be paid up to 250,000 shillings, which is the maximum amount payable by the Policyholders Compensation Fund.
It is also worth noting that these amendments gave rise to the expansion of the mandate of the fund to include statutory management and liquidation, thus enhancing the role of the fund.
Masita says the statutory fund has initiated processes for compensation of 690 claimants of Standard Assurance Company Limited, United Insurance, and 2,058 claimants of United Insurance Company that are also under statutory management.
Given this unique niche, there is indeed need for support and collaboration from stakeholders, partners, and the government in ensuring that the fund remains at the forefront amongst insurance guarantee schemes in Africa and the world over.
The compensation cash is from a kitty that insurance companies contribute to at a rate of 0.25% of premiums paid by customers.
Well, now you know that taking up insurance is still very low, and some observers have said that this is a move that is going to give insurance penetration the impetus that it requires. When you take up insurance, a majority of Kenyans just take it up because it's in the law, especially when it comes to motor vehicle insurance. But a majority also say that taking up insurance is not something that they prioritize, that they have other things to prioritize. Now, there with PCF coming, or rather rolling out that compensation, if you are a policy holder and a claimant of an insurance that went under, for instance, the Standard Insurance as well as United and Blue Shield, well, you need to make your claim so that you can get your compensation. Now over to matters banking, where Cooperative Bank Group made 10.5 billion shillings in pre-tax profit during the first 6 months of this year, representing an increase of 10%. Net interest income grew from 15.9 billion shillings to 18.8 billion shillings, while total operating expenses grew by 28% to 18.7 billion shillings on account of the lender doubling its loan loss provisions.
During the first 6 months of this year, Coop Bank increased its net loans and advances from 272.2 billion shillings to 301.2 billion shillings. This helped push up net interest income by 18% to 18.8 billion shillings, while total non-interest income grew by 24% to 10.3 billion shillings. However, the increased lending came at a cost, as the lender's total operating expenses grew 28% to 18.7 billion shillings on account of 123 prudential growth in loan loss provisions. Coop Bank Group CEO Gideon Muriuki said loan loss provisions was increased 4.2 billion shillings in appreciation of the challenges that businesses and households continue to face due to the economic effects of the ongoing pandemic. The increased operating expenses ate into the lender's profitability that grew by 10% from 9.6 billion shillings to 10.5 billion shillings. Muriuki says loans worth 49 billion shillings were restructured during the CBK restructure window that ended on 31st March 2021 to support customers impacted by the pandemic. He further says the bank has successfully moved 93% of all customer transactions to alternative delivery channels such as mobile banking, ATMs, internet banking, and Coop Kwajirani banking terminals. He says M-Coop Cash mobile wallet is disbursing on average 5.6 billion shillings monthly. All of the group subsidiaries posted profits save for Cooperative Bank of South Sudan, that a monetary loss of 290 million shillings on account of currency devaluation of the South Sudanese pound.
Pastoralists are calling on the national government to roll out the livestock offtake program as drought bites in parts of the country. Leaders from the Amaya Triangle counties comprising Laikipia, Samburu, Baringo and Isiolo have vowed to lobby Parliament to allocate funds for veterinary services that is key in the success of the offtake program. 5 counties have rolled out a joint coordination program on disease control.
We have also called upon the National Assembly to ensure that they also consider giving a budget to that sector, especially to KMC, to assist our region on offtake program. 3, development of joint framework of engagement of the inter-county livestock movement. This is an agreement that we have a framework. This is going to be drafted by all the Department of Agriculture within the 4 counties.
So I want to say to all of you, as senior managers, as technocrats, as political leaders, the solution is here among us. Let us craft those solutions together and implement them and continue the way we have begun, to track regularly and to see what we need to do to get better outcomes.
Now, half of SACCOs risk losing information permanently in a case of cyber attacks since they have not extensively implemented a disaster recovery infrastructure. This is according to the latest SACCO cybersecurity report by Seriano Cybersecurity that indicates that SACCOs have increased cybersecurity budget by 20% in the last 3 years due to growing risks.
Cooperative societies have made efforts to transition to digital banking platforms. The increase in mobile banking has led to increased cyber attacks, with SACCOs being targets due to weak IT infrastructure. The move from physical office operations to online platforms due to COVID-19 saw 30% of the respondents report cyber attacks over the last year. The SACCO cybersecurity report shows only 58% of surveyed SACCOs have a resource managing cybersecurity, while 51% have not extensively implemented a disaster recovery infrastructure. In addition, most of the respondents do not audit their vendors. There has been an increase in cybersecurity investment occasioned by increased awareness on the importance of cybersecurity, increased attacks targeted towards SACCOs, as well as digitization and adoption of new technology channels. 21% of respondents indicated they never conduct cybersecurity audits, while for those who conduct audits, inadequate funds stop the resolution of gaps pointed out.
To be able to appeal to these youth segments effectively, we need to change our strategies and tactics. Because, as Stephen Covey said, if we keep doing what we are doing, we will keep getting what we are getting.
Wambui Mbesa, CEO Intrasoft International East Africa, said there is a need for SACCOs to move from outdated ERP systems to secure core banking systems with seamless integrations to the cloud and other emerging technologies.
Now on to matters global. Qantas says all of its employees must be vaccinated against COVID-19, making it the latest global airline to mandate jabs for staff. The airline says frontline workers, including pilots, cabin crew and airport staff, must be fully vaccinated by mid-November. Details of this and other stories from across the globe.
Qantas says employees who have not been vaccinated against COVID-19 have until the end of March next year to receive both doses. This comes as the state of New South Wales reported its biggest daily rise in coronavirus infections. Qantas chief executive says the airline must provide an essential service, so this move will help guard against the disruption that can be caused by just one positive COVID case shutting down a freight facility or airport terminal. Qantas says that a poll of its 22,000 staff found that 89% of respondents had already been vaccinated or were planning to be, and around 3/4 of them thought it should be mandatory. Elsewhere, home prices have continued to surge in South Korea due to a shortage of supply, despite government efforts to rein in the market. South Korea, which has enacted 25 property control policies since 2017, plans to add hundreds of thousands of new apartments. But analysts say there is still a shortage of nearly 30,000 units. Housing prices in Seoul, which is home to almost half of the country's population, have risen more than 40% over the last 4 years, according to data. The difficulty of buying houses in Seoul has driven many buyers to nearby regions like Incheon and Gyeonggi, and consequently pushed up housing prices in those areas. Finally, the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has begun a formal investigation into Tesla's autopilot system, covering all 765,000 vehicles sold by the company in the United States since 2014. The authority has identified at least 11 car accidents that have happened since 2018, where at least 17 people were injured and 1 killed, after Teslas were on autopilot. The National Transport Safety Board, which also has investigated some of the Tesla crashes, has recommended that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and Tesla limit autopilot use to areas where it can safely operate.
Well, that is a report by Hibak there, who is a new recruit on our business desk. We'll be keeping tabs on what is happening across the globe as well as Africa in as far as business is concerned. Now crossing over to matters sports, Sylvia Chelagata became the first Kenyan to qualify for the final of the 400 meters in the 18th edition of the World Under-20 Championships that are happening at Kasarani Stadium. Now Chelagat finished in the second position in heat 3 timing of 53 minutes and 49 seconds behind, or that is 53 seconds actually, of Imabong Nse of Nigeria, who timed 52 seconds.
We are getting better, and I think we are in a good place as at now. Yes, inside the stadium we are very strict. You have to have a mask. If you don't have one, then everybody keeps reminding you to wear one. So we are very strict in terms of that. Yes, so we are getting to a very good place. Yeah.
We continue wishing the very best for our sportsmen and women who are taking part in the World Under-20 Championships that are currently underway at the Kasarani Stadium. Now, the Kenya National Paralympics team last piece of the puzzle was fixed yesterday before the team's departure on to Saturday for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games that is set to begin on the 24th of this month in Japan. The team on Wednesday was in a 3-hour media training session to prepare the Paralympians on how to respond to media queries.
In the past years, Kenyan athletes have faced challenges when put on the spot during global events, especially by the international media. And just before the Kenya Paralympics team heads to Japan on Saturday, they were trained on dealing with media queries. During the training session, the team of 16 athletes was trained on various ways of responding to media interviews, from mental to physical preparation and also replies of different questions. The training session was organized by the Kenya National Paralympics Committee to advise the athletes on their roles at competitions and to motivate them when they face journalists both locally and internationally. Before the training, all athletes were subjected to COVID-19 tests just 2 days before their departure to Tokyo.
Kulingana na mazoezi yenye tumefanya, nimejiprepare mzuri kwa mazoezi kama ya 1200 meters, nimekimbia na time ya 3:07 na 400 meters ya 57. So hapo niko na confidence ya kushinda medali.
Since it's my first time, objectives niko nazo ni mbili. First, sitakuwa mwisho. I don't want to be the last there. Na nataka kuingia kwa final A.
Kuna changamoto kubwa ambayo tuko nayo kwa sababu tunaweza enda race. Nimesema tunakimbia race moja kwa mwaka 4 ambayo inaweza kukusaidia. Ndio ndipo tukasema ya kwamba tunahitaji serikali ya Kenya watusaidie kama wanaweza kututafutia mahali ambapo tunaweza kujimaintain.
Kenya will be represented by 9 athletes in 3 disciplines at the Paralympic Games, aiming to continue writing history since they started doing so at the 1972 Paralympic Games in Heidelberg, Germany.
Maandalizi ambayo tumejiandaa, tunashukuru kwa sababu tuliingia kambi. This is historic, ambaye tumeingia kambi miezi 2. Hapo awali hatukuwa tunaingia kambi miezi 2 tuondoke, lakini tunashukuru. Maandalizi imekuwa vizuri na mimi najua tutasoa medali katika nchi ya Kenya.
Tunapoondoka hapa nchini Kenya kuelekea Tokyo, madhumuni yetu kuu ni kuja na medali. Na sio medali pekee bali medali za dhahabu. Kwa hiyo tumejitayarisha vilivyo tukienda kuwakilisha nchi letu kadri ya uwezo wetu.
The Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games will be held from the 24th of this month to 5th September in Japan.
Now, still keeping up with motorsports, a total of 40 drivers have confirmed taking part in the upcoming 4x4 challenge set to take place on the 21st and the 22nd of August at the Champagne Park in Kipeto, Kajiado County. According to organizers led by clerk of the course, Harry Thuku, the event has attracted much interest from participants after missing in action for the last 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
All of 40 drivers will compete in the upcoming 4x4 challenge on 21st and 22nd August at Champagne Park in Kipeto, Kajiado County. The event has been categorized in 3 classes for beginners who will run on standard 4x4 cars with basic safety requirements, intermediates who must have roll cages and helmets, and the experts who will be entering properly built cars with bucket seats.
We've improved the courses, we've put new sections. We've also decided to have more when we say courses, the event will take, the new courses will increase the event more and make it look more interesting.
We have very, very, very new stages which we've introduced. I'm expecting there'll be about 8 expert stages, another 5 or so for intermediate, and beginners will also have about 5 stages. But they are very exciting. Some of them are quite long.
Head of Marshals John Jenga said all the government protocols have been put in place to ensure the spread of coronavirus is contained at the venue. The off-road spectacle that captures the competitive spirit of motorsport enthusiasts returns in August after a 2-year absence due to suspension of contact sporting activities. The competition will bring together all off-road vehicles involving standard 4x4s, modified 4x4s, rock crawlers, quads, bikes plus special vehicles in the open class category like pickups. Beginners come in with their everyday used 4x4 vehicles to test the car's power, as well as the driver's skill to maneuver the course set out.
We are looking forward for a very good event ahead. It's been a while since the event has happened. We have been working on the cars, all the drivers have been working on their vehicles for a couple of long time and not getting a chance to go outside.
Weather iko sawa, we really need that month. Hata kukinyesha, we are ready for the tracks. We have been there before and we know how to handle it.
The intermediate stage involves attending a minimum 3 trainings offered at Champagne Park when the track is not being used for competitions, while at the expert level, one must take up additional trainings of a minimum 20 sessions and own a modified vehicle having good tires with great treads.
Indeed, those who enjoy a bit of adrenaline, well, Kipeto is calling this weekend, I think. Yes, and that happens to be in Kajiado County. Now let's go across the region where host Cameroon will play Burkina Faso in the opening match of the Africa Cup of Nations on the 9th of January at Omi Sports Stadium, following the draw held in the night in Yaoundé, Cameroon. Ethiopia will also play Cape Verde in a second match on the same day at the same venue. The draw saw holders Algeria pooled with Ivory Coast and Nigeria with Egypt.
Holders Algeria have drawn former winners Ivory Coast in the group stage of the delayed 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon next year. At a star-studded ceremony in Yaoundé, Algeria were drawn in Group E, where they will also face Sierra Leone and Equatorial Guinea. The tournament, which features 24 teams and runs from 9th January to 6th February, will see the winners and runners-up in each of the 6 groups, plus the best 4 third-place teams reach the knockout phase. Arsenal teammates Thomas Partey and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will meet in Group C after Ghana drew Gabon. Debutants Comoros make up the group alongside top seeds Morocco. The other tournament debutants Gambia will play in Group F alongside Tunisia, Mali and Mauritania. Nigeria, 3-time winners of the competition, have a tough test in Group D against Mohamed Salah's Egypt, Sudan and Guinea-Bissau. Sadio Mane's Senegal, who lost the 2019 final to Algeria, will take on Zimbabwe, Guinea and Malawi in Group B. Hosts Cameroon, seeking a 6th title, were put in Group A with Ethiopia, Cape Verde and Burkina Faso. Cameroon was selected to stage the 2019 tournament but fell behind with their preparation, and Egypt had to take over on short notice.
That brings a cap to the news that we had prepared for you that have been making headlines in the last 24 hours, and we want to appreciate our viewers who have taken time to be with us this morning. There's Han Fab, you don't say where you're watching from. There's Victor Kwemboy, who is, I always make sure to watch your show Monday through Thursday. Thank you very much, Victor Kwemboy there. We have Paul Ayoma as well as Joe Nyange, who says that he is locked Kuruka. Indeed, Thursday is a new Friday here. Remember that we are also streaming live. You can get us on various social media platforms, including YouTube and Facebook too. Also on Twitter, we have some of you who are already tweeting and saying that this is the best way to kickstart your morning, and we agree with that. And for Jackson Kehara, who says that he's never missed the 4x4 challenge there in Kipeto, saying yes, indeed, that is something to look forward to. Remember, this is going to be happening this month, the 21st to the 22nd. So if you enjoy some bit of action and adrenaline, well, Kajiado County is calling. So thank you very much for keeping us company. We are not done in as far as the program is concerned. Remember, our Thursday is always lit because it's our Friday, and it's not just about Regina Manyara, or if you like, Ray Manyara. It's a whole for man, and I say man being sensitive to gender. Yes, here in the on studio, the team can, holla, as Jane likes to put it.
In
can holla at you.
4x4.
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 It's about 4x4 challenge. Nice one, Jane. Nice one.
Yes. What's up? What's up? How are y'all doing? Mko salama?
Sisi tuko sawa. Wewe je, wewe uko vipi?
That's a good one.
Wewe uko vipi?
Mimi niko omusalama.
Oh yes. Regina, we can take a break.
Wewe tuko omusalama.
Niko omusalama.
Omusalama.
Dorin tuko omusalama.
These are supposed to be underwater.
I kind of have a question, because now our president has said that we can only be 100, and I'm directing this to Doreen, and she knows why. Do you have special passes to attend?
Why not? Okay. Why not?
So we are positioned. Jen is number 1, Victor number 2.
They're just in between these 100s.
Okay, so thank you very much. Tutakutana pale nyuma ya tent.
Mapeka tu.
To discuss further.
Oh, that part ya mabega, I want to give a disclaimer. Doreen, Jane, and Victor, you know, have you ever heard of a Meru musician?
Which one?
Yes.
Have you ever seen us dance?
No.
Like traditional?
Now we'll teach you.
So please don't expect my shoulders to,
But we will teach you.
On that note, we take
Regina
a short break.
Regina atakuwa na noa panga na floor. Hiyo ndio kudansi yake.
I'll just be observing.
There's no observing. We'll teach you.
I'll be observing. Tafadhali, don't expect too much from
Regina,
girl, but yes, tuko hapo msala.
Why is this even a conversation? As in, we're supposed to go and break, then we come back.
Okay, so on that note, the traffic marshal has an update for us. We'll be taking a quick break. When we come back, we want to find out how major roads are doing. Do not go away. There's so much more on this Thursday that we call a Friday, right here.
Dealers in violence, and we've shown you and everybody else that we make the rules. So you have a challenge for us that we accept.
And it's Callahan and LA Park for all the marbles.
Oh, it's Dan from LA Park, who is your new #1 contender.
yourself have been quoted as saying your greatest game was the first ever World Cup, the inaugural World Cup. But for most of us, who, when you came to the UK, we all became West Indians. For most of us, the 1984 epic in Manchester, that was the game.
Victory belongs to him. Oh.
She is one of Antigua's most sought-after gospel artists. Yet it wasn't always that way. Dornell Simon grew up singing in church, but one day, she chose to walk away from it all.
Hey, hey, they say I got it, brother. Hey, 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 can never stop this, brother. Hey, hey, they giving up the suckers. Hey, look back in the mirror, they gon' see me coming. Switch from dark to light, and so you know I shook them. All I had was chances, so you know I.
Visa vya ugonjwa wa malaria vimepungua kwa asilimia kubwa nchini Kenya kutokana na mikakati madhubuti iliyowekwa chini ya uongozi wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254,
if we do not address malaria and take decisive actions to eliminate it, we will continue to see more deaths from this easily preventable disease.
Kwa ajili ya kutumia ile neti, wengine kama mimi naitumia vizuri na naona ile mambo ya magonjwa kwangu nyumbani sio sana.
Wakati mwingi huko nyuma nilikuwa naugua malaria kwa sana, na nilikuwa natibiwa, bado inarejelea tu.
Wiki hii
And this is our focus this morning on traffic. This is Juja Road, and actually if you've noticed the better part of this week, we've just been looking at the traffic flow on most of major roads, especially around the city. Not any ongoing roadworks. Just try and check perhaps these roads that do not even have projects, how are they looking like? Is there any heavy kind of traffic, and perhaps what is the reason as to why they perhaps be having heavy kind of traffic? So this is our focus this Thursday. This is actually Juja Road. Perhaps can begin from the roundabout where the specific route or road starts from. This is how it is looking like this morning. Not so bad. I mean, just 20 minutes past 7, that time where I'd really expect to see gridlock on most of major roads or even slip roads, especially here in Nairobi because of obvious reasons. But clearly right now, or better still as of now, the roundabout is looking not so bad, like I mentioned, given also it's one of those major roundabouts as it comes from Outer Ring Road all the way still through Outer Ring Road as you head over to Thika Superhighway, branches off to Komarok Road as you head over to the other side of Kangundo Road there, and also Juja Road, which is our focus. And just as you leave the roundabout, still coming through the same specific route as you come to the city center, still moving at a very swift pace on those areas that perhaps you'd expect to see heavy kind of traffic. That is next to Moi Forces Academy there, still not so bad, moving at a very, very swift pace. Just as you near the Mlango roundabout, as you head over to Eastleigh, that is just where things are getting thick, but still not so bad, because away from that, as you come to the city center, like I mentioned, via Pangani there, still moving at a very, very swift pace. And again, just around this particular roundabout is where things are not so good, but still altogether manageable kind of traffic. Around this route is also one of those good alternative routes if perhaps you do not want to do the traffic along Juja Road. But clearly as of now, we do not need to look at any alternative route, because how the road is looking like right now, not so bad, in fact, throughout this entire stretch. And the beauty is that this is actually on both lanes. So as you leave that roundabout, the Komarok roundabout there, as you come through the specific route, and also as you leave that Pangani intersection, given that Juja Road actually ends there, just as you come all the way to the estates along this particular route. This is how it's looking like I mentioned, not so bad. Around that intersection, still one of those areas where I really expect to see also heavy kind of traffic. traffic. This is how it's looking like. Not bad at all, just on some sections here and there where there's a bit of a gridlock, but still altogether manageable kind of traffic. So again, still could serve as a very good alternative route if at all you're coming from Thika Super Highway. But like I mentioned, at least as of now, we do not need really to look at any alternative routes. Just perhaps the traffic flow, try to see which areas are looking bad, which areas at least it's smooth sailing. And clearly this morning along this entire stretch, which is Juja Road, like I mentioned, which is going to be our focus this morning, moving at a very, very swift pace on major parts along this route. So perhaps if at all we spot any heavy kind of traffic, we might try to look at alternative routes in our different other subsequent links. But as of now, at 23 minutes past 7, that is how it's looking like in terms of traffic.
Alright, ni wakati mwingine tunapata kuangalia magazeti. Hii ni in the headlines. Hashtag ni Good Morning Kenya. At KBC Channel 1, at Victor Olo, at Raymond Yara, Jeno Boy na Doreen Arage.
What? Right.
Hashtag still is Good Morning Kenya. We now get started with In the Headlines. A quick look at what the papers have for us today. The front page of the Daily Nation is quite busy today. So many stories have been featured here on the front page, and let me just run you through them. We start with the main read concerning politics, of course, with Uhuru, with the caption reading, Uhuru corners Oka chiefs to back Raila. This is information that has been disclosed by members who were present in this meeting, saying that they are inching closer and closer to coming to an agreement. And there are suggestions that President Uhuru Kenyatta is sort of convincing the Oka principals to disband the Oka alliance and support Raila Odinga for the 2022 presidency. But then again, they have reservations as they do not know really where they're going to be positioned. And now they are just waiting for the BBI ruling to be able to determine a way forward for them. Now, moving to the other story is in regards to COVID-19, where now Kenyans will have to pay more for oxygen because the cost of filling an 8.5 cubic meter cylinder has tripled from 2,000 Kenya shillings to 6,500 Kenya shillings. And this is in the event that you actually have a cylinder. And as it stands in the ICU, a patient needs at least 3 cylinders in a day. So if you have a cylinder, that will be about 6,500 to refill it. But if you don't have a cylinder, it will range from the previous 30,000 to 50,000 per cylinder. So we are talking about situations where patients will be using up to 150,000 Kenya shillings for those who do not have cylinders just on oxygen a day. That is where we are when it comes to the crisis involving COVID-19. Now, the other story is in regards to win for men as MPs back bill on 50-50 child care. Now, I will be very particular to look at this story because when it comes to child care and financial obligations where parents are involved for a child, there's always been a lot of back and forth given what the law says and given what we see in reality. That is, and one final story is in regards to the high rate of suicide among children. It is estimated to be about all the suicide cases in Kenya, 17% involves children under the age of 18. We'll be looking at those details in a bit. Vic.
Well, that's a worrying trend there, having in mind that, at the age of 18, underage, that's how they call them. Before you reach the age of 18, you are considered a child. And they copy a lot from the adults. And I think this is attributed to the number of adults committing suicide because they do the unthinkable. The media highlights all this, and the kids watch during maybe primetime news. They read on newspapers, on social media, and they think that that is the best way to solve a crisis.
And actually, Victor, one of the reasons that have been highlighted in this story is what we are allowing our children to watch. Horror movies and movies that have violence have actually been featured here as one of the contributors to suicide among children, and especially those between the age gap of 9 and 14.
And I think we have to be, the current generation must be taught the correct way of living, and we have to be deliberate on how to rescue that future generation. Okay. On the front page of the Star newspaper here, Raila Mudavadi Kalonzo deal on verge of success. Odinga and Musalia on Sunday night met to break the ice. Uhuru yesterday held decisive 2022 talks with the joint team in Mombasa again. That is Raila Mudavadi Kalonzo deal on verge of success. While Odinga and Musalia on Sunday night met to break the ice, Uhuru yesterday held decisive 2022 power talks with the joint team in Mombasa again. That is what's making on the front page of the Star newspaper here. And cream of KCSE to study medicine and engineering. The top students in the 2020 KCSE exam, that is Simiyu, Robin Wanjala, will join the University of Nairobi to pursue Bachelors of Medicine and Surgery. An analysis by the Star revealed that all the top 15 performers will pursue medicine and engineering courses. Now that is something quite commendable there. Still on the front page of the Star newspaper, UDA primaries will be free and fair according to Dr. William Ruto, the Deputy President. All right, something to as a warning shot to hospitals. Hospitals could pay 2 million shillings for detaining bodies. Now, public and private hospitals that detain bodies over non-payment of medical bills could soon be compelled to pay 2 million shillings fine or have their owners jailed for 1 year. In the same vein, private and public hospitals that demand advance payment before admitting a patient could be compelled to pay 3 million shillings fine or their owners jailed for 2 years. Now, the proposal are contained in the Health Amendment Bill 2021 that has been approved by the National Assembly's Health Committee. The bill seeks to boost access to health care and end suffering of families who cannot bury their loved ones over hospital bill. And ladies, just to ask you, it's not something new that we've had cases of people saying that mtu wangu alikufa, daktari akiona, I didn't have the money, I told them just to admit somebody to go on oxygen for surgery, and you know, they just say give us a down payment of probably 50,000 shillings or so, and a person just dies like that. What do you make of this? Starting with you, Doreen.
I really think that we need to perhaps take life, because life is so precious.
Yeah.
My perspective is that life is so precious, and we keep hearing cases of this over and over again, that the doctor just said I should bring this, perhaps I just had this and they could not attend to my kin or my person because I couldn't bring enough. Sometimes can it just be a conversation?
Yeah.
Can it, you know, because sometimes clearly mtu amejaribu vile tu anaweza. Yes, we understand that this is business and perhaps this is actually how things are supposed to be done, but sometimes can it just be a conversation?
Yeah. Regina.
You know, it has taken me back around 6 years back, and I was in a situation. Let's say,
all right. First-hand experience.
Yes,
yeah.
I was in a situation, and literally, I was dying, if I can say that, because I had lost 8 pints of blood in 2 hours, and I really appreciate the speed in which the hospital responded. You see, when you've lost blood, a majority of times you're told for you to get a blood transfusion, you have to bring your kin or someone to actually donate the blood. But when this lady walked into my room, I didn't know I had been I felt I was going cold, but I didn't know what the problem was.
Yeah.
So my parent was there and they noticed the pool of blood and this hit the emergency button. And when actually it was a mission hospital. And when the sister in charge came, and so I don't know what they saw because I've never asked. They just said, go get her blood. And nothing was asked of me or my family. And I go back to, and today I have a healthy respect for mission hospitals because there's something humane about mission hospitals.
Yeah.
When you look at private hospitals, a majority of them, it's about business, profits. But very few lack that interpersonal, actually have that interpersonal relationship, that life is precious. And I like what you're saying, Doreen. We need to recalibrate what life is. These days, even the reason why people don't assist other people when in an accident is because even rushing this person you have met or you want to save, by the time you rush them to hospital, you get to hospital, the hospital wants you to take responsibility for this person you're trying to rescue. They start asking you what happened. You need to make a down payment of X, Y, Z. You actually carry the burden of trying to save a life. My question now would be, Victor, what is NHIF in this country doing? Because when you talk about social security, this is what should be working for each and every Kenyan. And we have had this conversation over and over again, that emergency medical attention should be given to everybody at that point of need without asking for money. But situation on ground demands cash. Now let's talk about those bodies that are detained in hospitals over huge bills. Right? Someone has lost a loved one, but they cannot bury them. They cannot get closure because they have pending bills.
Yes,
and the hospitals, there was even a case that where a family went over to sue. They sued because they sued the hospital. Why? Because they had said, we have this amount of money.
It has happened several times.
I can give you my car. I can give you my land title. Just release the body to me. I will be paying in installments. This person is already dead. I have lost someone, but I am willing to pay for the services that were rendered. And the hospital was inhuman enough. They did not want to listen. It became a legal matter now.
You know, Regina, as you speak that way, I'm trying to remember what we were even talking about yesterday when we talked about the police and the police brutality. Now, when you come to the medics side and that perspective, yes, you understand that actually at the end of the day, it's all business. But when you talked about that issue of passion versus career, is this really what you really wanted to do as a person? Is your heart in this thing that you're doing? Or is it just, you know, I went to school, I went to high school, I went to campus, I did medicine, so I'm a doctor, or I'm this, so this actually is a career. There's no that human perspective, because given the examples that you're trying to give, if someone just wants to give a title deed or their card, this clearly someone who's willing to pay, but at that point they quite don't have the resources, so they really are so much willing to pay to get their kin, or they're willing to pay in whatever form, you know, just to get that treatment. So if I'm a doctor, why can't I just listen to that or hear that person? Because honestly, they really want to do it. Why does it have to be a push and pull back at the end of the day when someone just dies? Because we've been pushing and pulling and not trying to get to an amicable understanding. Is it really passion, or, you know, I'm just here being in career to get money at the end of the day and that's it?
Have you heard of this phrase? They say that it was a matter of life and death. And when it comes to that point of a matter of life and death, there's just a very thin line, and they know everybody wants to live. All right, maybe it wasn't your intention to die. Nobody wishes to die. All right, so when it gets to that point, it becomes a matter of life and death. That is a situation where it's crazy. I don't know. Jen is so quiet. Jen, you.
I actually agree with Regina when you. This is from also personal experience looking at mission hospitals and private hospitals. There's also, this is just something else that just crossed my mind, you know, just back during my pregnancy, even when you went for the checkups, you find that the older doctors are much more thorough as opposed to the younger ones. And particularly so in mission hospitals. I got the opportunity to visit 3 different hospitals, and I can tell you for a fact, mission hospitals prioritize life. Prioritize life, and even the cost implication is not as high.
That can be.
And you know, especially when you are during childbirth. That is literally walking that thin line between life and death. It can go from holding your baby to never being able to breastfeed your child. You can walk out of that hospital and the next morning you collapse and die.
I think
but all that starts with the service that you get.
The mission and the vision.
From whatever institution you go to. But trust me, if you get to experience different hospitals, their different backgrounds, their different visions and missions, trust me, it will play out in the services that they offer.
Wow. I think this bill is quite timely, having in mind that Jane and Regina, all of you have first-hand experience, and you're speaking directly to the national broadcaster, to the world. So I think this bill is touching on so many lives as it has on Regina and Jane here. And now the bill has been proposed by Moranga's Women Representative Sabina Chege. Okay, so let me just finish this on a sad note as well. 10 victims of deadly bootleg liquor mourned in Nakuru. Now the leaders, families, clerics call for zero tolerance, denounce laxity by authority. That is 10 people who died after drinking toxic liquor were mourned on Wednesday in Hodi Hodi village amidst calls for a relentless crackdown on illicit brew. That is what happened when these people succumbed to that liquor on August 10th.
When we learn, just the other day we lost a mother who was 7 months pregnant because of illicit liquor.
Yeah.
Hey. Anyway.
All right.
Allow me to bring you to another bill. And this is a proposed law that stipulates that no parent has superior claim of a child or children involved in the event of separation, more so. So it is a win for men as lawmakers back this bill on 50-50 childcare. Let's get to the details. So members of parliament have backed a bill, and this bill was presented by Homa Bay Town MP Peter Kaluma, which seeks to have the rights of children applied uniformly, whether the parents are married or not, by aligning the principal law with Article 53 of the Constitution. So as it is, it disadvantages men when in the event of a separation or divorce. But now the National Assembly's Committee on Labor and Social Welfare in this report have backed the Children Amendment Bill of 2020. So currently the law is not uniform, and it applies differently to children whose parents are married and for those whose parents are single. So they are seeking to amend the part that provides that where the child's father and mother are not married to each other, the mother shall have parental responsibility at the first instance. And as per the law is, if you can prove that the mother is not capable or able to take care of that child, then the parental responsibilities go to the father. So the House is seeking to adopt its report so that all parents can have equal responsibility, and the bill provides that neither the father nor the mother of a child shall have a superior right or claim against the other when it comes to the exercise of responsibility. This is both parental rights and also when it comes to the upkeep of this child. Now, it also goes on to state, in a situation where separation has happened or divorce, one of the parents through a DNA test can confirm that the child does not belong to them, they may cease taking up parental responsibility for this child. And after divorce, the court should stipulate a cash amount a parent needs in order to pay the parent who is the primary caregiver of the child.
That will bring a lot of debate. That will bring a lot of debate.
But Victor, I'm okay with that.
Sorry?
I'm okay with the 50-50.
Yeah.
I totally agree with the 50-50.
And this involves caregiving and financial support. And you know, caregiving boils emotional, psychological, presence, all that, down to giving them a bath.
Yeah. I think that's okay. In terms of look at this situation where both parents are present in the bringing of a child. I mean, financial might be a bit, bringing up a child needs a lot of tender care. You have to be very careful. So long as both parents are there,
Let me tell you, Vic, even
yeah.
if both parents are there, it's never been 50-50.
Exactly.
Whether they're married or even living together, cohabiting, and there's a child
That I
involved,
agree.
it has never been 50-50. There's
agree.
always one parent who gives more than the other in one capacity or the other. So should this bill be adopted, do you really understand what 50-50 means?
Let me
Because
try and
those who are
help Victor
lagging
understand.
behind-
Jade, let me come through there. 50-50, let's give an example. In a normal setup, Victor,
yes,
you will be required to sit down and do homework with your child. You will be required to go for those school parent
PTAs.
meetings, PTAs. You'll be required when your child has a scrape on their knee or a graze. You be required to take actual care of her or him. And when the baby is running a fever, where you tell your madam, or you leave your madam nursing the baby, you will be doing that too. Yes. Even going to church and drives and such, you will be required to do that. Because 50-50 has to cut across. It's not just about finances. It's not just about finances, but also you being there and doing your part. Because let's be very honest, Jane, and I like where you're coming from and what you're saying. Even in a normal setup where the parents are in one home, one house, amicable, you'll find one partner is more of a doting parent than the other.
More involved.
And you will find it is the mother who deals with even the relationship. When your baby is having a relationship, you'll find the mother knows. By the at you a boyfriend, ama the boy at you have a girlfriend. Tell me, the father has no clue. You know, when it comes even to setting the pace about values and such, it is the job of the mother. Well, you may say that this is nurturing, the mother is nurturing, but now with this bill actually passes, people need to understand that it goes beyond the money issue.
And
because
I think that's the
men
drive
are
behind
quick.
it.
Men are quick to try and cut their responsibilities when it comes to the finances. But what they do not see is that if this goes 50-50, we will be doing the finances and you will be present. And you will be present. That's the other thing. You will be
But you
present.
see, there's personally, I think there's some families who are just doing pretty well.
There's some.
Some are doing pretty well. But this bill is specific on people who are playing that hardball in any marriage. Unapata mepotea tu, like, what are you talking about?
And that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Even in normal situations, it's never been 50-50. And the normal situation is where both mother and father live together with the children in the same space.
But
right?
it also depends on the attitude that all of you, the foundation again, if all of you just decided this is it, you sat down and decided and agreed that we are going to start a family. I mean, you just have, parenting is a full-time job. There is no day you'll have a leave.
And Victor,
Hakuna.
I feel like giving a
just a minute, Ray. Rightfully so, as a mother, it is in your nature to take care of those children. As a father, it cannot be the same. Biologically speaking, not to disadvantage men in this particular case, but they're just those things that a man cannot do for a child, that a mother is the only one that can do. Okay? And those are not things that are being factored in this particular bill, because the drive behind this, from where I stand, is the financial responsibility that is usually placed on the man. But let me tell you, utanunua diaper. Na useme you have provided for that child. Atajivalisha hiyo diaper? Haezi jivalisha hiyo diaper. And that is why I'm telling you, it can never be 50-50. Just because you say, may I provide for my kid? I buy diaper, I buy food, I buy wipes, I buy clothes. Well and good. That's one part of the equation. All right? That's why I'm saying 50-50 is never going to be a reality.
How will you measure? It will be so
And that's what I'm
tricky.
telling you. You cannot measure some of these things, Victor. You cannot measure. Leon, I took care of Alpha 62.2%.
It depends.
The remaining, what's the math, 37.5 is up to you to fulfill the equivalent 100%.
Okay, all right, okay.
These are not things that you can measure.
Okay.
Victor, there's someone who is watching us, though they're not saying where they're watching from. You also share a name. He goes by the name Victor Kwemboy, who says that I need to say hi to you in particular. Why? I don't know, but I've passed on that information.
Me in particular? Oh,
yes, Sema Salimia Victor Olo. You're the only Victor Olo in this 4x4 challenge team there. And Victor, you said, when you decide to have children, let's be very honest, people don't sit down and have this conversation. A majority are oops babies, or like, oh my God, you know, pregnant. We actually do not make conscious decisions to have children.
There are those that do.
There are those that do, but a majority don't, especially where firstborns are concerned. No offense, I'm a firstborn, but we all know we happen to be like, oops, it may happen. Yeah, then after that, you make conscious decisions. But yes, people need to sit down and, you know, have these conversations. Because,
all right. Yeah. Now, allow me to bring the other aspect in this, and I want to start with you, Vic, to just hear from a man's standing.
Yeah.
The other part, it states that in a situation where one of the parents, through a DNA test, has confirmed that the child does not belong to them, they may cease taking up parental responsibility. And I want to hear this from both a logical and emotional point of standing. Now, you have chosen to be involved in the life of this child, consciously knowing that they are not your biological child. But in the event of separation, the law, if it's to be adopted, it gives you the right to cease taking care of this child post-separation.
Yeah.
Debate.
All right. Well, I may be right or wrong in this, but then now it depends with the kind of relationship that the man is foreseeing with the lady.
And mind you have built a relationship with the child as well.
Exactly. When, first of all, it has to start with the mother, because you cannot love the child before loving the mother. So if you're deliberate on having a relationship with the mother of the child, then it has to trickle down to the child as well. That is one. Two, if you decide and say you cannot sire somebody's child, then the law will provide you that leeway to step aside if you so wish. All right. Number three, if at all you would want to have a relationship with all of them, then you also have that leeway to do so. But then you have to be post-separation. If you want to provide, then what are you going to provide? On what grounds? There are some people who will say, Mimi, it's over. And then it's over like that. So it has to be deliberate. I mean,
it boils back to your moral standing as an individual.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very hard decision for someone just to make like that. But once you make that decision that this is what I'm going to do, you have to love the mother, you have to love the child, be there, support, and remember to provide. Simple.
Well, I think it still just boils down to conversations. Most of these things that happen in relationships, marriages, that's why even just from the first, cassette of that conversation, I was just trying to think to myself, why does it have to take a bill just to make this kind of provisions? I mean,
that's a very good question, Doreen.
I mean, because by the time you're coming into relationship, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it really just has to be about conversations. It really doesn't have to take a law per se. I know now the law is there because of the way we're trying to say, kuna tu wale watu wenye tu, lazima tu, something has to be there like to force or push them, but it just has to be from you. You have this conversations with this person. Is this what you really want? Do you even want to be in this relationship? Do you want to do ABC? And if you don't, then just do you. Live your life. Do you want to have kids? How many kids do you want to have? At what point in life do you want to have kids?
It's a whole
are you willing
sort of
chill?
conversation.
Are you willing to like even perhaps pause a bit on your career? Maybe not like pause completely, but maybe take more time being a mom or more time being a dad. Is this what is in your mind? If not, then don't even do that thing. I mean, because why does it have to be when you have 2 or 3 kids, then I realize, wait, I actually provide more than this person. Why didn't we ever talk about these things? I really don't understand why we have to get to a point where we're having bills to force people to be parents enough.
Doreen,
As
you're
a
woke.
mother, it can
You
never
are
be
woke.
50-50.
Doreen is woke and lit this morning.
It can never be 50-50.
I wish I was woke at the age of 24. Yes.
Did you just say my age on national
But was
TV?
woke like the way you're woke right now?
Let me ask you something, Regina.
Ngoja, before you ask me.
No, it's just a very simple question.
Does it have to do with when my birthday is around, you know?
No.
It's not about your age,
next
just
month.
chill, because you just did say mine.
This is just so simple. Doreen has just asked a very good question, that why this bill being brought at this particular point. Let me ask this question now. By the time unakatia dem, let me use that word. You go for coffee, you go for outing, you give your ultimate best.
When I test the waters,
you test the waters. The lady will always also give her best side of the story. You're always there, just to cement that relationship. And sometimes it can go for a very long time. We all know this. You know, I pursued this lady for like 6-7 months, even a year or two. Kitambo aingie box, that's what we say, the normal language they use. Alingia box maze, lakini alinisumbua. But then it all goes back to a conversation. You pursued her. The question is, now, before you start having a family, why don't you have the same conversation? How are we going to support our family? The number of kids you're going to have? Where are we going to live? The schools? Which church are we going to? If I'm coming from this church to the next church, are you a Catholic? Are you SDA? Are you AIC? How are we going to bring this family together? What are some of the values? Are we going to live with our family members?
Are you even willing to have kids in the first place?
Boundaries. Family boundaries.
At what point you're working on the other side corner of the country, I'm working. How are we going to meet somewhere? It has to be a conversation. That's what we are always being told in church. Guidance and counseling. Even our parents tell us, hey, Maze,
Victor, what you're saying would exist in utopia.
Yeah.
Let's be very honest. It exists in utopia. When boy meets girl or girl meets boy. The first thing is,
girl falls in love.
Anaka fine. Does he look fine? Is he handsome?
Well, that's obvious.
Boy still goes like, hey, ude manaka kitu. We rarely have time to have the conversations that matter. And we need to distinguish between dating and courtship. Courtship is when you have already moved from the dating scene and you have focused that this is the person
exclusively
I want to see, and I want to spend the rest of my life with them. Now that's that. But there's a lot of 20 pizza, 20 drinks, 4x4 challenge, 20 year, 20 tukenda. Yani, people are busy sampling each other. Unfortunately, I'm using the word sampling. Yes, people are still doing tries X, Y, Z. People, a majority of us who are dating or we have not decided that this is a person I want to be with the rest of the.
Unakumbuka ile swali tukaambiwa uoe ule mtu una date sahi. Utasema ndio?
Sasa unaniuliza wacha nimalize kwanza before we actually close up.
It's exactly what you're saying.
That is
Regina. Like dating, squeezy, so many people are just wasting each other's time.
Yeah, you're wasting each other's time, and unfortunately,
for 4, 5, 6, 7, even 10 years.
You'll never recover that time, and unfortunately, you'll find these samplers are sampling each other. One of them has actually invested emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, that they know that this is the person I want to be with. Unfortunately, you have that coffee date and they tell you know what, so and so,
I'm not
it's
ready
not
for
you.
a relationship.
Actually, they go, it's not you,
it's me.
It is me.
Yes, it's you.
And that is BS, if you ask me. That is BS. Don't waste another person's time simply because you have not acknowledged and actualized that this is a person you want to be with. Actually, go for that, meet up with them. In an instant, it actually says, I saw some research saying that in the first like 45 seconds, a woman knows that this is a person I can have a conversation with.
Yeah.
So because we can tell it on the get-go. Tell that guy, Mwambie, by the way, Thank you very much for coffee. Can we do Dutch? We pay half. But my friend, I don't want to waste.
What did you say?
I don't want to waste your time. This can't work. Unfortunately, Kina Victor, when you tell them no,
Victor, we can tell you a story. Roger, you pay 50-50 on the first date.
Yes.
No, people are going.
Yes.
Regina, the same way.
Even if we were going somewhere,
it just appears so good on paper the way you're putting it. 50-50.
Yes.
Ladies.
All right.
It depends on who you're dating at the end of the day.
Okay.
I pull my weight, you pull your weight, we move together. Simple.
And life goes on.
Anyway, tell the person you're with if this is something long-term, short-term, or you're doing tries X.
Medium-term goals.
Yes, sema uko wapi. Then after that, let them make a decision. Do they want to have short-term with you? Do they want to play those games with you? Or do they want you to go the long haul? Then you all agree on the same page. But when it comes to this bill, Jane, I have two questions. What implications will this proposed bill have on the Children's Act Cap 39? That says that the child needs to benefit from both the mother and the father.
The changes are being made on Article 53.
Yes, but it will also affect Cap 39, where the child
50-50.
Yes, the child should benefit from both the mother and the father. And in this cap, the mother-father is not ordered or founded on DNA. Second question. Right now, we've seen the statistics and the survey that the number of single parents out there are many. Men, women. What happens when this single parent, male or female, gets into another relationship? This is a long-term relationship. They have decided, you know what, I had a nasty relationship, I want to go on further. What happens to this new partner who comes into this life of this single parent?
This is a debate.
Will they take up the responsibility of the child that their partner has come on with? Or in that household, itakuwa tuko na watoto wawili. Moja ni wako, huyo mwingine ni wetu. So there are so many implications on this proposal. So we'll be keeping tabs.
And
so there's
as
so many
we bring
questions.
it to a close, let's not even get started with teen pregnancies and situations where the father of the daughter is also the father of the daughter's child.
Okay. Well, okay, ladies, just before we go on a break, today is Thursday. What's your favorite TBT? Doreen?
What's my favorite
just to neutralize the topic. No. Your TBT?
What's my favorite what?
What can you remember? TBT?
Throwback.
TBT, yes, throwback.
In terms of what?
Everything.
It's my favorite throwback.
Tricky.
I know, right? In terms of what? I can't quite think about it.
Throwback to giving birth. My son just turned 15 months.
Me, that ain't a TBT. The labor ward is not a TBT for me whatsoever. However, I have a TBT. The day that I successfully stole sugar, and I got away with it. My brother wasn't there to tell on me.
Sugar.
Sukari ilikuwa muhimu. You know those cubes. I don't know if you guys grew up that time wakati kulikuwa na cube ya sukari.
Cube.
Yeah, sukari ilikuwa na cube. Unachukua ka cube unaweka.
Regina.
Yeah.
Sukari.
Come on.
Hiyo yenye watu wanatoa sukari. I still take sugar. Unfortunately. Napenda sukari. Na sio sukari ya Jane.
You still lick sugar.
We take a break. We'll be back to continue with Good Morning Kenya. Do continue keeping us company. Sukari. Sugar.
Mbona unapenda kuniongezea majonzi?
Awe ndo bara kwenu.
So the body ni ngumu sana, ni nzito. Bado hakuna la maana.
Umefuta nini humu ndani?
Nimekuja hapa ili tuongee. Lakini kama upendezi na mimi kabisa.
Sasa tuongee nini mimi na wewe? Tuongee nini?
Mimi si mwizi. Wewe ni mwizi. Mimi ni klepto. Hebu ambie. Mwambie. Hebu ambie.
Nimetroa kutafuta job na hakuna.
Unafikiria mimi nasikiaje? Mimi nimeumia shingo, siwezi hata kufight. Hata unaweza na kubox.
Listen, hakuna mwanamke asha participate kwa underground fights.
Mimi ndiye nitakuwa first. Melata rent.
Unafikiria naweza chukua hizi chapa?
Visa vya ugonjwa wa malaria vimepungua kwa asilimia kubwa nchini Kenya kutokana na mikakati madhubuti iliyowekwa chini ya uongozi wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254,
if we do not address malaria and take decisive actions to eliminate it, we will continue to see more deaths from this easily preventable disease.
Kwa ajili ya kutumia ile neti, wengine kama mimi naitumia vizuri na naona ile mambo ya magonjwa kwangu nyumbani sio sana.
Wakati mwingi huko nyuma nilikuwa naugua malaria kwa sana, na nilikuwa natibiwa, bado inarejelea tu.
Wiki hii
Hiyo ndo inaitwa transformation. When you just see my guest actually this morning, utaamini huyo ni yeye. That was you at 12 years?
12 years.
That was your first song? Hebu tuambie a bit about that song.
Alinipenda bila do. Ni basically naongelea love ya God. Ya chagui koko na do ama kama umesota.
Ngoja, ndio huyo. Actually, this is one and the same. Don't get confused.
Yeah.
This is clearly one and the same person. So yes, you're telling us a bit about that song.
Yeah. Alinipenda bila do. Ni basically naongelea love ya God. Ya chagui, ya bagui. Ya bagui ka uko na pesa ama una do. Either way love ya kiko constant.
You began doing music at the age of 12.
Yeah.
Meaning hiyo time ulikuwa ushajua actually mimi nataka tu kuwa msanii.
Mimi nilikuwa nataka kuwa msanii.
Why, and then why specific gospel? Because I mean at that young age, clearly utapata watu wengi wakianza na gospel per se. Hata kama itakuwa ni gospel, maybe mtu anaimba kwa church, tunakuonanga tu kwa choir, and then that's it. But you had begun recording.
Ni I guess ni mentorship. Ni mentorship, alafu nilikuwa na watu wanani support. Na walijua umuhimu ya kunacha talent.
So ukiongelea kuhusu mentorship na watu wenye wanakusupport, how watu ni walikuwa kina nani specific?
My parents.
Your parents have been your biggest support system
since day one.
Since day one. How did that shape how you've come up as an artist?
It has shaped me a lot. Juu yo guidance ya wazazi, unajua mzazi hawezi fanya uhate. So in this case pia anataka the best for me, haizi taka niende on the wrong side, unajua. So hiyo mentorship ya dad na mom ndio imeni keep all through.
Let's try and get this Ife Young, because especially for this generation, let me just say this our generation. Ukienda unaambia mzazi, me actually I really want to do music, and you say that when bado uko shule kwa primary, unajua I want to do music. It does class 3. It doesn't matter whether it's gospel or secular. You just tell them, me but I want to do music. This is actually what I want to pursue. Najua niko shule, but this is actually where my heart is. In as much as they supported you, what was their first reception? Because unajua kuna wale wenye actually they might be like mbona, and then they can now support you tukiendeleanga. So for you ilikuwa vipi?
Mimi naweza sema ni sijui niite blessing ama niite aje, kwa sababu familia yetu ni musical family. My dad ni producer, my mom sings, my bro ni video director, unaona. So wanajua importance ya talent. Actually sikuenda kwao nikawaambia nataka kufanya music. Dad ndio alinotice hapo nikiwa home kuimba ako like, wewe unaweza imba, hebu tuingie studio unaweza fanya nini? Na ika happen tu hivyo.
That's beautiful.
Even really happen.
When your parent gets, now you see, if you're a parent out there, actually talent, music, singing, acting, anything in the arts,
talent too.
It's good and it can grow, isn't it? So that was 12 years ago. Then you released Wololo Yaye with Rafton, which was actually a big tune back in the days. Still remember you with that song. How was it collaborating with such a big artist at such a young age? Kwanza in the first place, is it collab ulikuwa naziget vipi?
I guess tu ni sijinta itaje.
Blessing.
I guess ni favor.
But uko blessed sana.
I guess ni favor. Juu collab yangu na Rafton ili happen tu. Hadi mimi siwezi sema nilimtafuta. Ili happen tu.
Like ulikuwa studio, yeye pia akatokea ama?
Ili happen tu. Alisikia tu ngoma yako, see you work on this. Sasa mimi who might say no.
This is Rafton, you know?
You know. So it happen too.
So I mean unasema hukumtafuta, hakukutafuta, so it just happened in a studio setup. Does it mean ulikuwa already ushaandika hii wimbo ama how was it?
Nilikuwa nishaandika. Nilikuwa nimeenda kurecord actually. Nilikuwa nimeenda kurecord nikiwa stu session akatokea na akaipenda. Nika happen tu ikakuwa Ife Young na Rafton Wololo Yaye.
So can you say that has been your biggest collabo ever, ama have you done any other collabos past that you would say actually hizi zingine pia zimekuwa tu fiti?
Nimefanya makolabo kadhaa, lakini ile ilikuwa major.
You know, that has been your major.
Ilikuwa major.
I mean the major collabo you've ever done.
Ilikuwa major collab.
What is so peculiar or different about hiyo collabo, because unasema umefanya other different ones, so what is so different about that one for you kama msanii kusema actually this one was one of my biggest.
Ilikubalika, ili hit Kenyan waves designer D atakuwa tuna expect. Ilikuwa sing along kwa kila mtu, ololo ya ye. Na hiyo ilikuwa major, hadi unaona tu ilikuwa major.
Sasa ni juu ili hit ama ni juu ilikuwa pia na rap? Unajua pia mtu na collab nayo ni big deal.
Sasa unaona hizo factors zote zikishikanishwa zote ina create kitu kubwa na pia ilikubalika kwa waves za Kenya.
So what was the concept idea behind that song? Because unasema wewe mwenyewe ndio uliandika kwanza.
Ololo ya ye ilikuwa hype song. Ilikuwa nimeandika, actually tuliandika tukiwa a team as a team. Unajua can you happen na coming up na idea alafu kama team tunakaa chini tunaiwakia. So tulikuwa tumeiwakia tu hivyo. Actually ilikuwa tu hype song. Ololo ya ye, yani ukisikia tu unataka tu kudance.
Unasema ati how also you come up with the songs that una come up na idea, then a team you create the song, you create the music. So really what informs I mean when you talk about idea, is it a environment yako ama things you've gone through? What exactly is it?
Daily life, because it happen kwa daily life. Na nafikiria naweza bring out aje kitu in a musical way. It's the easiest way to express.
Unasema ololo ya ye ilikuwa a hype song, and actually what I've noticed from most of your songs, it's either kuna dancehall vibe, as in mambo tu za ku hype. Is that your style of music?
Yeah, that's if young. That's if young. Hiyo ndio kitu hii generation inataka.
So unatumia jitu tunataka, si jiwe unataka kutu.
Sasa unajua ni kipawa na pia unaidirect venye unataka. Kuna mwenye amechoose kuifanya in praise and worship. Mimi nimeamua kuifanya on this other side.
Kuifanya in form of hype, dancehall and all of that. So as you create your songs or as you create your music, is it just basically what we want as your audience, or it's basically what you have been inspired by the Holy Spirit or by the word?
Pia let's say to ni all, cause either way if young without fans. Unajua sinapea fans kitu anataka, alafu pia kuna hiyo inspiration ya kutoka kwa Bible. Verses,
so you read the word.
True kutoka sinakwambia nimegrow in a musical family, a spiritual family. Tumegrow tukifunza the word. So vitu zingine pia zinatoka kwa Bible. And let me just get this from you. Ukiangalia, even as how perhaps most artists maybe create their content on their songs, ukiangalia that perspective of I want to do, in as much as yes tunasema msanii si msanii bila mafans, but as msanii akilin so much towards I'll want to create music because pia mafans wanataka this kind of music. Where from your perspective, do you feel like this in a way inafanya msanii ana lose their cause or you know perhaps their direction? In what way? Ina affect sana. Kuna wasanii wanakuwa driven excess by fans. Wanaenda out of their way kufanya kitu ya kufresha fans. Unajua wanajisahau. Lakini sasa mimi sidhani nimefika hapo.
Dhani umejisahau.
Mimi sidhani nimejisahau. Juu pia niko na ile guidance ya mzazi. Unajua mzazi hizi kuhepesha njia, hizi fanya uhate, hata kulead in the best way na in the right way yenye anaona. So hiyo guidance ya mzazi pia ina play role sana.
So we can safely say that for you hata to still be here doing gospel, regardless of the fact that ulianza when you were 12 and now at least you've grown, majorly imekuwa guidance ya parents.
Guidance ya parents pia take part.
Parents take a big part. Okay, now let's talk a bit about mentorship, because again I want to believe pia that's one of the other things that has also kept you grounded, because I mean ukianza music when you're 12, right now perhaps when you're 20 or 19 kuna hizo changes, you also the environment, unaona what is selling. We've seen a lot of gospel artists when you begin wakiwa young, they've moved to secular. You've just decided, for me it's actually gospel, and it's gospel all the way
hadi mwisho.
Hata yona kuna yafianga ametatua hapo ngoma fulani yenye sasa tunasema mbona huyu ameenda the other side.
Ni gospel hadi mwisho.
So maybe what do you feel really makes a lot of artists who begin at such a young age, kama venye tu ulianza, to start with gospel, because that's what perhaps they love, that's what their passion is, and then maybe 10 years 15 years wakisha grow anakuwa youth wana feel, by the way me actually sikuwa nataka kukaa hapa.
niyo naweza sema niyo kukua driven na world na msanii kujisahau. Lakini pia unajua msanii kama ameamua kuswitch sides, hatuwezi judge hapo juu watu wengi wamefanya hivyo, unajua. Hatuwezi judge. Sasa kama msanii ameamua ni hivyo, yeye ameonelea hivyo ni hivyo. Lakini mimi naweza sema ni hiyo kukua driven na world. Inafanya mtu ana switch.
So just aside from your parents, maybe is it an artist or a pastor? Who else has also been your biggest mentor?
I guess Rafton. Rafton amenimentor pia. Na mostly my dad. Mostly your dad. Yeah.
Just trying to pick from another artist, even a bigger artist, having to mentor you, it may shape aje the kind of content you create, it may shape aje the kind of mindset you have even towards gospel.
Imenifungua sana akili cause unajua yeye amekuwa kwa game. Yeye amekuwa kwa game for a very long time. Anajua, understand industry, anakulead na according to understanding yake ya industry. So imetake role kubwa of which kama ange play your role sidhani ningekuwa hapa.
So then do you feel like also that is one of the things that maybe most artists lack?
Mentorship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then what can be done? Because wengine huwa wanakuambia mimi unajua pia mimi niko na 2 talents. I feel I can write and actually I've written songs. So ukiniambia mentorship unakuja kunifunza nini exactly?
Naweza sema tu unajua ingine inakuanga kiburi. Wengine wako na kiburi hawataki kusikia cause maybe washagatha Kenya walikuwa wanataka, wanaona washafika, unajua. Lakini hiyo humbleness I guess ndio ina play part kubwa kuwa mentored. Lazima ukue humble, lazima usikize.
So we can say that for maybe let's not say most artists, but for some of these artists ni kiburi. Ni kufeel mimi niko na talent.
Ni kufeel mimi niko na talent, hakuna mtu anaweza.
But kama mtu ana talent pia ako na talent.
Ako na talent lakini si usikie kenye unaambiwa. Si usikie advice unapewa, unajua. Venye wewe unaona si ango lenye msichana kuambia kitu anaona. Labda yeye ako na watu, yeye anasikiza watu, anasikiza venye watu wanaongea kukuhusu, unajua. Yeye ako na better picture. So ni watu tu wakue humble.
Watu wakue tu humble. Wewe kwanza dakani kama kwa industry hujaipata shida. Juu wewe kwanza your parents have been there for you since day one. In fact, they even discovered you. You've had a chance to do collabos with big artists from when you are still starting. You've had a chance to be mentored. We've seen your songs when you were 12, 13. So ushaikuwa na challenge kwa industry kweli? Gani?
Kubalance studies na muziki.
Okay.
Hiyo imekuwa challenge, na imekuwa true. Lakini all in all naweza shukuru juu nilimalizana na shule. So at least sahi hakuna hiyo challenge kubwa.
How are you doing it in that time? Because actually it looks like to you, where challenge zenye other artists wanasemanga ni challenge, wewe kwako haijakuwa challenge you know? So in that time when you are in school now una try to create music, because again also for an artist, by the way, in any form of art, consistency is the key. Now ukiwa shule, sometimes you really have to focus on studies and not quite create content.
So mi wakati nilikuwa shule, time ya shule ilikuwa time ya shule. Time ya holidays ndio nilikuwa nafanya muziki. So unapata tukiwa shule niko strictly fully % kwa studies. Alafu unapata time kama hiyo ndio mashows zinatokea, ma interviews zinatokea, na zingine huwezi toka shule uende, unaona. So hiyo ndio ilikuwa challenge kubwa. Na pia time ya holidays, unajua pia shule tunapewa assignments. Lazima udeliver assignments, lazima udeliver muziki, unaona, lazima kuna dancing classes, lazima ufanye zote.
So hiyo style yako ni dance hall.
So unaona hiyo kubalance ndio ilikuwa challenge kubwa, ndio ilikuwa major challenge.
So ikitokea time, let's just take this scenario, because again for most artists, by the way, kwanza kutafuta hizi interviews na shows, that is mostly their biggest issue, and when one gets any of that they run very fast. But wewe sasa wewe umepata show, umepata interview, umepata gig, na ndo uko shule, inabidi uachane sasa na hizo gig na shows na interviews.
Mwanzi, lakini sana nikiwa primary nilikuwa nakujiwa. Nikiona interview.
Ulikuwa kwa msanii mbigi mpaka unakujiwa?
Nilikuwa nakujiwa shule, nikiona event kubwa yenye kuhata itakuwa shida. Nilikuwa tu nakujiwa.
And the school will release you? Wow, which school is this that will release you to go for show?
Unajua wanaona ni kitu evident. Si ati ni nzaro ama nini. Ni kitu iko na alai.
I think that is beautiful. Maybe you can stay there in a bit because unasema hata ukiwa shule ingekurelease. Kuja hiyo gig, kuja hiyo show, kuja hiyo interview because they can see what you are doing. But utapata for most artists, okay, maybe the ones that I've also interacted with, hata maybe wenye tumekaa hapa tukaongea now, some would tell you, mimi hizi show, hizi gigs huwa sipati because maybe someone would say, sioni what exactly you are doing. Nini haswa yuko shida? Ni content ya msanii ama ni vile anajipackage ama ni vitu tumjui? Shida yuko wapi?
Hiyo sasa sijui nita-explain aje, lakini nadhani sijui nitaitoa aje yani.
Joel ulikuwa unakuja mpaka shule kuja upige show.
Kama upige show.
Kuja interview.
Na unaambia na ukihata isho yenyewe ni shida.
As in lazima ukue tu hapo.
Saa shoka hiyo unajua utakujia shule. Lakini hiyo swali umeuliza sijui niseme.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. To make it easy for you. When you look at a good number of artists, because like I was saying, unapata another of the biggest challenge is, as an artist will tell you, mi kupata hizi interviews kukapa yuko tricky sana. Kupata hiyo show, hiyo gig, yani nimehustle tu kabisa. Hata before nipate, yani some would even tell you I even paid, you know. So the biggest issue inakuanga vile msanii ameji package ama ni content yake.
I guess tu ni zote. I guess ni zote zina play a major role. When unajipresent kama msanii, uwe msanii uko na nini, unaleta nini kwa show, unajua. I guess tu ni
so packaging, branding
zote
is also important. Tusikae tu ati unajua ni content pia tu, but sijaji rebrand, sijaji.
Hiyo si usanii.
Hiyo si usanii. Usanii pia ni branding. Vile unaji package, how you also talk with people.
True.
And all of that. Now, when you finished school, at least now we can say now that challenge of now trying to balance school and a show, all that was done with. Again, another issue that always comes is they would tell you when it comes to art, and I'm talking about different forms of art. Now that we're talking about music, they will tell you the business side ndo inakuanga tafash. Mi naeza andika muziki, naeza hata try kutafuta dressing, you know, I just look good, but sasa the business side, marketing, you know, is always a challenge, an issue. Have you had to interact with that after now school and all of that?
Actually nimemaliza shule this year.
Okay.
Ndio tumefanya hiyo exam. Lakini story ya kumarket imekuwa challenge. Unapelekea kwanza, kuna time unapelekea DJ ngoma na kwambia ngoma siwezi cheza ngoma juu story mob.
Tuambie tu anakuambia juu ya nini?
Juu ngoma imefanywa na producer wa secular. Iko na story mingi.
That is a challenge.
Imagine saa umeinvest alafu ukipeleka mziki icheze unaambiwa hivyo.
Ati ngoma imefanywa na producer wa secular, imedirectwa na director wa secular. So DJ wa gospel anakuambia siwezi cheza hii ngoma.
Imagine.
Na wewe mbona unaenda kuproduce na producer wa secular?
Unajua ni art. Kwani imeandikwa wapi? Si bora message yenye mimi na bring out ni kitu safi. Mimi na bring out kitu safi. Hiyo ni kama tuseme hiyo ni kaa kujudge.
Okay, wow. I didn't know that actually that is a challenge that artists face.
Okay. Mostly wasanii wa gospel tunajajiwa sana.
So pia tukiona watu wamevuka upande nyingine kuna reasons. But you won't judge. Let's talk about your latest song is Download. Tell us a bit about that one.
Download ni comeback project. Ndio project ya kwanza nimefanya after nimemaliza shule. Na imefanya poa disco and expect itapiki hivyo. Kukiconsider sijafanya muziki for around 3 years now. Na nimerudi na download imepick vizuri sana.
What is the idea, concept? Is it also a dance hype song?
It's a dance hype song. Na basically inaongelea baraka za God.
Baraka za God.
Unajua hadi siku hapa sasa ni blessing. Ijaandikwa mahali ati kesho asubuhi lazima ukuje show. Hiyo kuamka tu kuona new day, it's a blessing. It's a blessing we need to consider, unajua. So download ni ngoma ya naongelea blessings, naambiwa say isaidie tu ya gospel, tuna download baraka.
Hebu tuangushie mistari. Director nasema lazima uangushe before tuweke hiyo wimbo. Angusha mistari.
Ati nakukaribisha karibia, mimi Efiang na msifia, sitoki kwake mimi nishadandia, gharama msalabani alilipia, unanibamba kama una namba, alishapendwa mpaka na waganga, tantaran tantaran mpaka mapepo yameganda.
Track nzito kabisa. Director, angusha hiyo track sasa.
Zaga FM once again. Kama unavyopenda we kushinda neti, utadhani ni samaki kwenye neti, na hizi stories za kuzimia kwa neti. Kwenye wokovu jamani utaiso kuna buffering, niko download. Hakuna buffering, niko download. Unapo download hakuna buffering, download. Baraka zake zinashuka zinaiso kuna buffering, niko download. Hakuna buffering, niko download. Unapo download hakuna buffering, download. Baraka zake zinashuka zinalodi. Na kukaribisha karibia, mimi Efiang na msifia, sitoki kwake mimi nishadandia, gharama msalabani alilipia, unanibamba kama una namba, alishapendwa mpaka na waganga, tantaran mpaka mapepo yameganda. Utawia tu download, baraka tuna download, faraja tuna download, baraka tuna download. Ukitaka kudownload, toko Yesu piga hodi. Baraka za download, amani ya download, uponyaji wa download, huku kwa Yesu. Baraka za download, amani ya download, uponyaji wa download, huku kwa Yesu. Na mkumbuka tu Farao na watu wake makarao, hata kwa kuja na farasi, Mungu wako wapa tu nafasi, kawafanya bizi kwenye maji, utadhani ndo cha ukipaji, maji kashuka kama risasi, na hapo wakabafa kiasi. Unanibamba kama una namba, alishapendwa mpaka na waganga, tantaran mpaka mapepo yameganda. Utawia tu download, baraka tuna download, faraja tuna download, baraka tuna download. Ukitaka kudownload, toko Yesu piga hodi. Baraka za download, amani ya download, uponyaji wa download, huku kwa Yesu. Baraka za download, amani ya download, uponyaji wa download, huku kwa Yesu. Kwa Yesu kuna buffering, niko download. Hakuna buffering, unapo download hakuna buffering, download. Baraka zake zinashuka zinaiso kuna buffering, niko download. Hakuna buffering, unapo download hakuna buffering, download. Baraka zake zinashuka zinalodi, niko download. Niko download, niko download, niko download, niko download.
Get the VIP access to the best shows on KBC Channel 1. We have something different, something special to spice you up. Get ready for new, exciting and captivating dramas. Movies.
Love the smell.
Comedy.
I went to the popos. Huh?
Drama.
Did he assault the queen in my house, in my presence?
News, sports, and so much more. Do the things that make you happy on KBC Channel 1.
Sake, mbona unapenda kuniongezea majonzi?
Hawe ndo bara kwenu? So zabadi ni ngumu sana na ni nzito. Bado hakuna la maana.
Umefuta nini humu ndani?
Nimekuja hapa ili tuongee. Lakini kama upendezi na mimi kabisa.
Sasa tuongee nini mimi na wewe? Tuongee nini?
Mimi si mwizi.
Wewe ni mwizi.
Mimi ni klepto. Hebu ambie. Mwambie. Hebu ambie.
Talking about animals, look ahead of buffalo.
This week on Zurura.
Hii kazi mimi leo ninafanya.
We take you on a journey from farm to shop. Rock climbing.
My toes feel like sardines.
We'll also get your adrenaline pumping with a rigorous activity.
You can get lost here easily, yeah?
You get to find out what conservancies actually do. Expand my mind. And yes, that's all coming right up on Zurura. Find your adventure.
You yourself have been quoted as saying your greatest game was the first ever World Cup, the inaugural World Cup. But for most of us, who, when you came to the UK, we all became West Indians. For most of us, the 1984 epic in Manchester, that was the game.
Victory belongs to him.
She is one of Antigua's most sought-after gospel artists. Yet it wasn't always that way. Dornell Simon grew up singing in church, but one day, she chose to walk away from it all.
Hey, hey, they say I got it, brother. Hey, 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 can never stop this, brother. Hey, 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 giving up the suckers. Hey, look back in the mirror, they gon' see me coming. Switch from dark to light, and so you know I shook 'em. All I had was chances, so you know I.
Guksa amekuchapia story yote ya benefits za dad kwa kampuni alikuwa anafanya job.
Could it be that Ken named you next of kin? Because why else would they be calling you?
Wendo kuzi mamako mwenye alikuwa next of kin wa Joyce.
Mbona?
Wewe unaitwa na mume wako?
The house is up for auction too.
Get up.
What?
Unaonyesha nini mtoto?
She has the worst hangover of her life.
I think it's time upatie our safe space.
Be positive.
You don't even have a job.
back to the program. This is still Good Morning Kenya. Time for our second conversation on our Entertainment Thursday segment. My guest on set is Caroline Wamboi. Good morning, Carol.
Wamboi. Good morning.
Wamboi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Wamboi.
Wamboi.
Wamboi mwingine ashafurahi pale afikira ni yeye. All right. So, Carol, I just want us to talk about background.
Yeah.
You know, how your background, environment has shaped the kind of content you create, much as it's gospel. Because tunajua environment, background, it really plays a big role. It influences, you know, the kind of content that artists create.
Yeah.
And maybe we can begin from, you've been doing it for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah,
to do music.
Yeah, I started 10 years ago, then I took a break, and then now I'm back again. Yeah.
Is that a thing with female? Because actually, most female artists that I get to talk to, that is a narrative that I have been doing music for maybe 3 years or 10 years like you. I'm at 6 years. Then I took a 2-year break.
You know, with women, ukishaanza familia, you have to just take a break. You know, for a man, whether you start a family or not, you just continue with your life. Lakini for ladies, you have to be mother first, and
I feel like you know what you're saying. I feel like it could open a very different conversation altogether.
Yeah, true.
But maybe let's not move that way because we might deviate from our core and focus. But I mean, just what you're saying, okay, that could make a lot of sense that, you know, when you become a wife or you become a mother, then you have to pause a bit and maybe go be a wife or go be a mom. But what happens to consistency? Because unajua kwa usanii wanasema, kwanza kwa muziki, consistency is key. I mean, when you go for 3 years, 4 years, you even forget that you existed.
Yeah, it's hard, but sometimes there's nothing you can do. Yeah. You just let things be. Yeah.
Ukishaamua, I want to be a wife, I want to be a mom. You just choose to.
You have, you know, Kikuyus say, dogeruga nyogo igere. You can't cook here and here. Moja itaungua. So it's your choice to decide. Do you want to continue with your music? Uwache mtoto. Sometimes uko mbali, you're not breastfeeding. Or uachane na mziki kidogo, haitaenda mahali. Ule kidogo, akifika mahali fulani, you just go back to your music.
Aki, the more unasema hivyo, the more I'm trying to avoid this conversation. But anyway, let me just throw something in. So then, does it mean that you can't have it all together, or you can have it all together, but not just at the same time?
There are some people who can do it. It depends with, you know, people are different. You can do both, but kuna moja tu itaungua.
At your time, kuna moja itaungua kiasi.
Kuna moja tu, something will happen. Ama you give it time. Hii unafanya kidogo, then unatulia, unafanya kidogo, but you can't neglect ati uzishikilie zote. Moja tu, there's something will happen. You can't be.
So it's a question of choosing at this point, what do I want to do? At this point, maybe I want to be a mom. At this point, I want to be a wife. At this point, I want to do music. Then that actually means you can quite have it all together. Only that at this point in time, it's music that's dominating. At this point in time, it's being a wife. At this point in time, it's being a mom.
Yeah, you have to plan yourself.
Okay, it's all about planning.
That's been a woman.
So it means that we do not need to castigate and save, especially female gospel artists who are quite consistent. We just need to understand what really happened.
Ukimkosa, there's something she's doing. She's not just lying somewhere ati meachana na muziki. No. Yeah.
So we need to understand that maybe at this point, huyu mtu kuna vitu zingine pia anafanya which are also very important. Okay, let's go back to music. 10 years being in the gospel space. I mean, and I want to say this because
not gospel.
Oh, music. Just music as a whole. So are you doing a different form of music before? Or
I just did one song that sounded gospel. Inaitwa Kesho di Sunday, but I'm not a gospel artist.
Okay. Just music as a whole. All right. Okay, quite interesting. So 10 years in the music space. How has it been like? How has that journey been like?
Well, I can say like I've grown with the industry because the industry is changing in a very
very dynamic.
Very high rate. Where we were 10 years ago, saizi it's totally different. People are doing quality stuff. Saizi competition iko juu. If you do something funny, you're not going anywhere.
I don't know why I imagined you are a gospel artist. I just don't know.
because I'm nice like that.
Imagine. Okay, so you're saying that the industry, the space is becoming more dynamic. So kama unataka kupenya pale, you have to give us quality.
Yeah, you have
What is
to.
Quality?
Quality, you see, it's just like any other business. Kama unauza matunda, usilete tu matunda mbaya. Unachukua kamera na unazipanguza. So don't just do a video ama audio funny. You have to get, if you are going to do that, wacha tu. Hakuna haja kupoteza pesa because the music will go nowhere. Saizi si siku zile za kubahatisha. Yeah.
Because I mean, people can actually do quality stuff, so you also have to be out there doing something very good and quality. All right. You had also mentioned that your background, and that's actually why we formed this, conversation around how background influences the kind of content that artists, musicians wanaeka pale nje. You grew up in Limuru, Nakuru, and just that environment. Kuna venye ina influence muziki unatoa?
Kabisa.
Kivipi?
For one, Kikuyu, I speak fluent Kikuyu mzuri because I grew up ile dikiwa primary, I was in Limuru. Everybody spoke Kikuyu. Ni vile nilienda Nakuru, watu wanaongea Kiswahili because Nakuru is much more metro.
And it's mixed.
Yeah.
People are mixed there.
So when I went to Nakuru, it was a bit like a culture shock. Unajua ile Kikuyu ya I mean Kiswahili ya Wakikuyu, ile you're not able to differentiate between L and R.
Yeah.
I used to be like that.
Okay.
The first time I went to. So nilikuwa nashindwa watu wanacheka nini when I speak
in Swahili sasa.
Yeah. So nikakuja kujua kumbe Kiswahili changu kuna vile niko na shida ya matamshi.
Kiswahili chako
kinatatanisha. But then nikashindwa, this thing of people looking down on people just because they have an accent. I don't know where that comes from, kwa sababu that means huyu mtu anajua language ingine. Ni kama tu Mfaransa aongee English. Wa utacheka. So why laugh at a person speaking, tuseme ni Mulunje anaongea ile Kiswahili ya funny.
Mimi ni mbona nasikia nikao unaniongelelea.
Tunaongea Kiswahili mbaya watu wanakuchekelea. You're not supposed, it's just that you come from there. Anyway, that shaped my music sababu I've seen that Africa is going, it's like the future of everything. Even the music, hata watu wa majuu saizi wanatukopi kwa videos nini, wanafanya collabo. Sisi siya tunaenda kuwatafuta, wanakuja Africa
pia wanatutafuta.
Exactly. So we have to embrace our own.
Okay. So that's why you moved from just doing English Swahili songs to can I say purely do your craft?
Yeah, I can still do Swahili and English. But after the videos and all that, zitaka African. Yeah, I'm not going to maybe copy Beyonce. Hata nikivaa kitu ya Beyonce lazima nitakuwa na Kiafrika mahali.
Itakuwa na Kiafrikana.
Yeah.
So that's something that you say that in as much as of course we need to perhaps be more dynamic and embrace that actually, and also accept that also the Western culture, it plays a part. But tukubali tukatae kuna venye.
Westernized.
But to some extent, let's not forget that we are Africans. And someone would ask, how do you balance this two? Why I'm saying that is because also a lot of fans would say, even when you look at our Kenyan music, especially in the secular space, utapata watu wanasema we've lost our culture. Maybe how the lyrics look like, how people create that content, the kind of videos, dressing, it's more Western. So how do you balance?
I think I'm just being myself. Mimi ni demu wa mashamba. Limuru niko kwa majani. So it comes more naturally to me. Being an African. To be an African is not seti nitajipanga ndena tu nichukue kitenge vitu tu kawaida.
So some wengine when they're really copying a lot and maybe even losing their roots and losing their culture, what do you think they need to do?
Sometimes I even think it's not like they're trying to copy. It's just that it comes naturally to them. Maybe wamezaliwa Nairobi. Mashamba wanaendaga maybe once wakifunga shule, siku hizi shule zifungwi. So imagine hajaona kitu ingine, anaona tu Nairobi. So that's hiyo ndio life yake. Mpaka music anasikiza tu za watu wenye wanafanya the same thing, westernized stuff. But so when they try to do something African, they feel like it's not real. It's like they are putting on costumes and which is still okay. So naweza waambia wa try. Yeah.
Okay. So don't lose your culture.
Yeah, culture is very important.
Culture is very important.
Mila ni mtumwa. Yeah.
All right. You had mentioned that you had also done a gospel song before.
Yeah.
You came before you actually began. Oh, okay, let me just say, before you did, the other secular songs. Maybe that's why you thought that you were actually a gospel artist.
Yeah.
So then, if you did a gospel song before, why did you begin doing secular, or you just want to be contemporary?
Actually, I don't call that song gospel. It's just a song that says kesho ni Sunday, tutaenda church. It's not like a hardcore gospel, but that doesn't mean that siwezi fanya gospel. Sometimes I feel like religious people, na wasinichape.
This is just your own opinion.
Yeah, sometimes they feel like they own God. Kama wewe ni mwenye dhambi usitaje Mungu, hata ni nini unaimba gospel, weka huko kwa secular. It's like Mungu ni wao. God does not belong to anyone. And Mungu wako na Mungu wa Muislamu na Mungu wa nani, hakuna mwenye ati ni better than the other. So if I wake up today and I feel like I want to thank God, sintafanya tu gospel, but I'm not a gospel artist. Lakini I can be like, thank you God for this and this and this. Yeah.
And you see why I ask that is because of what you're trying to also bring out, that even for the audience, hata for the fans. Nikisha kuona unaimba secular, kuna venye si expect kukuona tena ukiimba gospel. Ama nikishaona ushatoa ngoma moja ya gospel, kuna venye si expect ukiimba kona.
Yeah.
So but what you're saying is that it's all about an individual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wewe na Mungu wako. Actually unaweza pata mwenye anaimba gospel, ukiona si tunamwona in the public,
right? Kutoka kwa pana gospel artist.
Yeah. That's why inasema msidichape. But what you see hapa kwa public, utakuwa surprised uko nyuma what is happening. Unaweza pata mtu wa gengeton mwenye unasikiaga unafikiria kwa rafa kwa nini, then you meet him in person. Sasa zenye hayuko artist, unashindwa is this the same person? Ametulia, yani just sometimes I feel like also being an artist is like acting. Unachukua different roles, leo uko hivi, kesho uko hivi, but you have to separate yourself, your real life na hiyo usanii. Yeah.
It's actually art.
Yeah.
It's actually art.
Yeah, it's
and
art.
Is this why also most people feel like pale gospel kuna double standards, just from what you're trying to describe?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Quite interesting. Now let's talk about your, let me say your first songs. Kivuli.
Kivuli.
Done in Kiswahili?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us a bit about
way back. So nilikuwa is it grand? No, nilikuwa Ogopa DJs.
Hiyo ni kitambo.
Yeah, the song is Kivuli. Nasema nitakufuata kama kivuli. I did the video and it did well. Nilipata 2 views hivi kidogo, but then pap family kaanza.
Oh, so that's what you are saying.
Yeah, hapo ndipo nilichukulia break. Yeah.
Then your style of music, how can you describe it? Because unaimba Kikuyu, hip hop. How can you describe your style?
Naweza ita Afrofusion. I can do any style, muziki tu yoyote, but I have to Africanize it. Naweza chukua beat yoyote, lakini lazima ni eke hiyo Kiafrika, and also in the video nifanye the same thing. Yeah, so I can say my music is African music. Yeah,
you really have a lot of love for Africa. Your content is African.
It's the best place to be. Everybody wants to be here.
Everybody wants to be in Africa.
Yeah.
Okay. Really interesting. So when you look at music as a whole, and also this is actually one of the things that I also asked our previous artists, but I believe it cuts across because it's very important. Wanasemanga kwa art, and again specifically music, the most difficult part per se, si hata ku create your content sana. Because if you feel actually you're talented, and even if you have mentors, content is not so bad, or it's not so hard to make.
In a flow too,
The difficult part, they say is the business side of this industry.
You have no idea.
Oh my God. Kwanza sana tena sana.
Wow. The business side is very hard. Unajua kuandika muziki, nikiambiwa saa hizi niende studio within like 1 hour niko na song. Ni release, then what? Release, it's perfect. Video iko sawa, everything is okay. But then the business side is very, very, very hard. Na sasa kitu yenye inatusumbua wasanii, sometimes we try to do everything. Wewe ndio manager wako, unajimanage, unajistyle, unafanya everything. Kwa sababu kama unataka team lazima ukuwe na pesa. But now when we have people who help us like Mr. Sweet K, wanatusaidia at least tupenye kidogo. And then ukifika unafikiria sasa ndio hapo utapumzika. No, kukaa hapo sasa penye umefika it's even harder. Cause utafika and then you have to outdo yourself. Uwezi fika mahali uko mahali juu and then you start going down. Ukiwa na hit lazima ujaribu you do something even better. Yeah.
Let us try and understand, and even maybe for our viewers to also get it. When you talk about business side of this industry, ina entail nini specifically? Because for it to be the hardest part, really you should be having a lot of things going on.
For one, kwanza lazima nipate lawyer. For one, unaweza ingia kwa deals zingine, you sign papers and then umejifunga for life. There's nothing you can do and maybe uache kufanya muziki.
So as an artist you sign some contracts and you don't even understand.
Exactly. You have to pay a lawyer, angalie akwambie hapa ukifanya hivi huyu atapata hii percentage, huyu atapata hivi. So that's the most important part, your business side. And it's very complicated. Kuna vitu hata ukijaribu aje uwezi understand as a msanii.
So aside from just getting a lawyer to perhaps explain to you what contracts means, because in the part of contracts I want to believe ni perhaps, for example, if you do collabos, we mwenye umeandika hii ngoma, what percent are you getting when you start sharing the revenue? Mwenye nimemshirikisha anapata ngapi?
Beat ni yako.
Ikienda YouTube, views, when you get this certain number of views, how much do you get? How much do I get? If I'm supposed to, if of course I'll have to involve a producer and director and music, how much is the producer getting? Such things. So aside from those nitty-gritty of where I'll have to involve a lawyer kuni explain how these contracts work, what else is the most difficult part of this business side of the industry?
Well, getting your music out there is also
that's marketing?
Marketing. Kwa sababu you have to know the people. Like my music ninafanya Kikuyu, so people might think lazima tu niende kwa Wakikuyu ama Kikuyu stations. No, you have to have somebody mwenye atakwambia hapana, hii style yako we can even take it here. We can do this and this and this. By the way, the next song you do, try to do this and this and this. Kulingana na environment saizi venye iko, you can write a song about this. Unaona? You plan your releases, si kuimba tu. You know, before I didn't know that. Nilikuwa tunaandika song as venye na feel.
So it means that also you need to have a team. Maybe team yenye na kuguide also what to do, maybe to go with the trends. Nini na happen. Si tu unaandika juu nimefeel okay, ni uandika ngoma za Kikuyu, na ni hip hop, na ni rap, so let me just write. So also this is again another big challenge. Then just as you try to conclude, what do artists need to do at least to break forth? Because really it looks like a big challenge for most artists, and not just even in music, by the way. Cuts across.
You know, naangalianga sometimes you see our wasanii, they are very good. You find them uko underground. Na wengine they are so bad, lakini wako huku juu because of kitu wenye wamefanya, wamejituma sana. You know, sometimes hiyo push vitu. So for the artist naweza waambia one thing, listen to advice. Kuna wasanii wengi sana unamwambia kitu anakwambia hapana, not
mimi niko na talent.
Mimi najua Kenya nafanya, nataka kufanya hivi na hivi. But I like to listen to people. Mtu akiniambia kitu hapa unafaa kufanya hivi, unafaa kufanya hivi. And then usikie watu wawili watatu wamekwambia. They are not stupid, they know what they are saying. So listen, kusikiza ni poa sana kuliko kuongea.
So listen to advice. Interestingly, even if young, that's what he said there, that it's not just about talent. You know, wale wenye washafika pale mbele yako wanasema nini pia. You know, they've been here before you. So listen to advice. Now as you conclude, Carol, your song Nguo Nage. Pronunciation. Nguo Nage. In Kikuyu like that. Tell us a bit about that song, even as you just finish and play it.
Nguo Nage, first of all, that word means to be seeing you. It's a romantic song and it's bubbly kidogo. The chorus says that I saw you, I took a photo of you, I put it on a frame, nikaihang karibu na bed, ndio nikuonage. Kopi ingine nikeka kwa wallet, ndio nikuwe na kuona. Kopi ingine nikaeka kwa simu.
Yani lazima uone huyu mtu kila mahali. So it's more like a love song?
Yeah, it's a love song.
Okay. Mr. Director, cheza tu kama wewe sasa. Cheza kama wewe. Tuweke hiyo muziki.
Nako yamani kwedete tiga ni gwetigira igerede yubura oria ndiraigua ngoro kumothe nderutere gukorera karwimbo-ini tondu haha ndingĩconoka haha nĩ homa yakwa ĩrĩ ndingĩrĩria ngĩkuona ngĩkũhũra mbica ũtekumenya ngĩthiĩ ngĩmĩkĩra burĩmu-inĩ wendo wakwa wothe ngũhe ngĩkuona ngĩkũhũra mbica ũtekumenya ngĩthiĩ ngĩmĩkĩra burĩmu-inĩ wendo wakwa wothe ngũhe nguonage ngĩcuria mbica hakuhĩ no rĩrĩ nguonage kopi ĩngĩ ngĩikia wallet-inĩ nguonage na wallpaper ngĩkĩra thimũ-inĩ ngĩhĩta tĩri wakwa na nĩgũtuĩka wakwa Otene, weruhe, na wenda kumenya tondu no kwenda Otoge, otene, weruhe, na wenda kumenya tondu no kwenda tondu no kwenda tondu no
The poison's gone.
Really? Don't be in such a rush. Just keep your mouth shut. My brother seems calm now, but he must feel very conflicted.
Prince Tianqing grew up in a royal family. How could he be so weak-minded? As an ambitious younger prince, even if he wanted to end things, how could he choose to commit suicide?
They have both paid with their lives. So look, don't blame your father.
Sake, mbona unapenda kuniongezea majonzi?
Awe ndo bara kwenu?
So the body ni ngumu sana na ni nzito. bado hakuna la maana.
Umefuta nini humu ndani?
Nimekuja hapa ili tuongee. Lakini kama upendezi na mimi kabisa.
Sasa tuongee nini mimi na wewe? Tuongee nini?
Mimi si mwizi.
Wewe ni mwizi.
Mimi ni klepto. Babe ambie. Mwambie. Babe ambie.
Hayawi huwa mbiu ya mgambo imelia, na kwa kawaida ikilia kuna jambo.
Mgambo uliopo hapa ni rumba kavacha, odemba na sukus.
Tutakupromoshea midundo motomoto ya Afrika, iwe kutoka kaskazini, kusini, magharibi na hata mashariki.
Rumba is here in your living room.
Na popote ulipo.
This is Bridge of Congo.
Nzambe ya sambe la kati, ako sambe la nani?
Right here on KBC Channel 1. Where?
By the way, nothing gets me pumped up like today's lesson. I hope teacher is coming.
Now you want me to speed out my business strategy, sidio? Unaniona nikikaa paka ama nini? Do you want this dance or not?
Fala, what is wrong with you? Julian, don't mind him, he's just like a porcupine. Kwani, how many cows were you fooling around with?
What? I did no such thing.
You did no such thing. It is my word against yours.
Wow, black men. Typical Kinyanjui.
Wake me up when all this is over. When I'm wiser and I'm older.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
Like Mandela, baby Isabella, oh Mandela, Mandela.
Mixed by Mighty.
Nawambianga musije mkatuona tunajua kuongea tu.
Ati ni kizungu tu.
Ati ni kuongea tu. Na Dorina ako na mabega. Na Regina ako na panga.
Victor ako na samaki.
Victor ako na audacity.
Na wewe uko na miguu
ya Kijaluo. Hey, bwana.
Rehearsal sio.
Nakuambia basi ushasema.
Omori rehearsal ya sasa.
Mimi ndio cheerleader.
Head of communications.
Head of communications.
Kwa hii team ndio huyo.
Director mwenyewe. Thank you so much for staying with us this far. Tunataka sasa kuingia segment ya mwisho ambayo ni
Udaku Sesh.
These are the trending topics zenye zimekuwa zikisumbua watu katika mitandao. We welcome you to share with us your thoughts. Aya, hashtag ni Good Morning Kenya at KBC Channel 1 is official station handle, at Victor Olo, at Dorina Range, at Ray Manyara, and at Jane Wamboi is how you can be able to interact with us. Basonare. Sawa sawa? Tuanze na story ya kwanza. Na sasa hii hata Miss June ilikuwa ni reactor. Sawa sawa. So, there's a gentleman called Wesley Rono, 31. Na wife yake anaitwa Patricia. So they've been married for 5 years or so and they hadn't been fortunate enough to have a baby. So girl dem akamuaje? A fake pregnancy.
Okay.
Hold on. Mimi wacha niwaambie first of all, pregnancy is a full-time job. Gale makamua at a fake pregnancy. And along the way, guy alianza kupick up on, kuna venye haikai kawaida, because she wouldn't allow him to touch the bump. She would get agitated. He basically never saw the bump the entire pregnancy. Si wakati wa kudeliver ukafika. And mind you, alikuwa anapewa pesa, anaenda for the antenatal clinics, kila kitu, the whole 9 yards, y'all. 9 yards zote. Tarehe 8 mwezi wa 8 Agosti 2021 ukafika. Akasema leo ni Labor Day. Galdem akaenda hosi. Akaambia Mandem, mimi ni shujaa, naenda peke yangu. Akaenda hosi. After hosi akasema sasa nitaenda kwa mom wanichunge kidogo na mtoto before nirudi. Mandem akasema vipi? Aital. After that, 4 days later, she comes back to their marital home with a baby. Mandem akamuliza, umto hii akai 4 days old, umetoa wapi mtoto? After a lot of confrontation, she finally caved. Akamwambia, by the way, sikuwa na ball. I just wanted to save our marriage. Because they've been getting a lot of, mbona mtapata mtoto nakuja lini? And what she did to make it worse is that she actually bought the baby from a nearby village. Whoever was selling the baby, alikuwa amemwambia leta 50k ndakupea mtoi. But Galdem akasema nini, mimi sina hiyo 50k, lakini nina 2,650 na mbegu za majani. Debate.
Wait a minute. Were they stick together?
Married for 5 years. It's actually the guy who turned the wife to the cops. Jolimambia, this is now a police case.
Oh, it is.
9 months.
So easy.
But do you know what it means to fake a pregnancy?
Can I go first?
Please.
It's a whole process.
Because to have, I want to pick it up from where you just left off.
Yeah.
What it takes to fake a pregnancy. A pregnancy is not a cold, a flu, a headache, or a stomachache. A pregnancy is a cool 9 months.
Actually 10, because
then you actually
weeks.
say you're going to labor. And I'm wondering if you have been married for 5 years, and I want to be very politically correct, this is a national broadcaster. You have been living together for 5 years. And even during that term that she was pretending that she is pregnant, weren't you having constitution? Weren't you having, or rather living in the same house? I mean, We all know people who are pregnant. I mean, it's just basics.
The bump.
It's just the basics. For that man, for me, first of all, I find him gullible. Yeah, I find the man very, very gullible. It basically means you do not know your woman. You don't know, even you do not understand what happens to a woman when they are pregnant. For her to have carried out such a lie
for 9 months.
10 months plus.
10 months.
That the only time you realize that you have been taken for a ride is when the baby comes home. Yes, and even if she went to labor, where were you? Ulikuwa wapi akienda labor, anajipeleka mwenyewe anarudi na mtoto? You know, basically, this man was an aloof partner. It would not have happened to a partner who was not aloof with the wife. It simply wouldn't. And mark my words, Jane, Victor, Doreen, and everyone who's watching, I am not supporting what the lady did. I'm just saying this partner was not keen, was not even in tune with what was happening to his partner. You cannot fake a pregnancy if you're living in the same house, yes, to a point najipeleka delivery. And I come back with a baby.
What if I say that probably the guy tried to assume the whole narrative of you know, when I was expectant, mtoto hakuwa ananitaka, I hated my husband.
Dear Lord.
For 10 months.
Dear Lord.
Acheni niwasome what he said.
Yeah.
He actually did an interview with one of the local TVs.
Okay, please.
And this was happening in Kuresoi South. Kuresoi North rather. So he said, alikuwa anasema anaenda check up Kericho na nilikuwa nampatia pesa ya kwenda anarudi. Lakini alikuwa anaweka nguo kwa tumbo. Niligundua lakini nikasema acha nitulie tu mpaka nione amepanga nini juu ningemwambia angehepa.
Okay? Really? That's not an excuse.
Also, he goes on to say, how audacity shocked me. No woman can give birth and immediately board a matatu 30 minutes away. Siku ya 4 ilifika, nikampata kwa nyumba jioni, nikamwangalia na nikamuuliza huyu mtoto ni wa siku 4 kweli. Nikaambia bibi yangu, unajua hii sasa ni police case.
You know, it goes back to this. It goes back to what I said earlier. This man was not in tune with the spouse. Because if you have realized I am lying to you, right? And unajiita the love of my life, and you're my man, and you know I'm lying to you about something as big as a pregnancy, and you're waiting every day, watching, supporting my lie, man, supporting my lie. That man is a narcissist. Angemuliza by the no, Victor, my argument is, why didn't he ask when he realized this? Why did he wait up until the last minute? Basically, it shows yeye ame accept anadanganywa, but anataka kuona unaenda hadi kiwango kipi. But I'm asking, is that a person who's really in tune with your emotions? If someone has I believe if I make a mistake in the relationship I'm in, we talk about it then. Don't give me weeks, months, years waiting to see what I am going to get to, because what I am doing is what is the best I could in that situation. And now the lady comes out and said, by the way, I was trying to save our marriage because the questions have been falling on me. And we all know, women world over
Regina,
know.
Personally,
The question, let me finish. The question about how many children, mbona haujaza, those are questions that are directed to the woman. If this man had actually approached the wife before it got to where it is right now, we are discussing about it on the national television, it is a police case, they would have arrested the situation. I am not supporting what she did. I'm just saying that relationship has a communication breakdown. These people were just coexisting, because kama unaona nguo zinafungwa kwa tumbo na unabado unapeana hiyo pesa, what type of a person are you? Unapenda kudanganywa kwa miaka? I mean, what for 10 months?
Imagine that.
For me, that doesn't.
And let's not forget, she actually went to the extent of buying a baby from a nearby village.
Let me just say this. They were married for 5 years.
Yes.
And I will say what I said earlier, and I think I'll keep saying it anytime we have conversations surrounding relationships or even perhaps marriages. It's still, for me, and I still really think and I believe it still boils down and goes down to conversations in this perspective. You've met this person, you people are dating, you even have gotten to the point and stage of courting. Talk about these things. How many kids do you want to have? What if I never have kids? Is that okay with you? Let this person know. Perhaps uko na medical problem, or even it's just you. It could even be the man, not always the woman. If I can never sire kids, if I can never give birth, is that okay? Let this person know. If they're okay, then continue with their get married. If they're not, then just stop it there, because I really don't see and think why we need to be having such kind of conversations that I wanted to save the marriage. So you go buy a kid because you want to save a marriage. So that means you'll keep buying kids. If this person maybe wants 3 kids, you'll buy 2 other kids because you have to save this marriage.
This is child trafficking.
It's wrong. Talk about these things.
I'd love to
okay, let me just say this.
Yeah.
I don't think relationships and marriages are a matter of life and death. In the sense that if you don't get married, or if you're not in a relationship, it does not in any way stop your purpose or becoming the person that you are. So if you just can't work because of some things, A, B, C, and D, then just stop it. It doesn't have to get to that point. It's never that serious.
Yeah. Personally, I would love to know whether, okay, you've said these guys have been married for 5 years. Do they have other kids as well?
This was their first pregnancy.
All right. So my take is this. Probably married for 5 years, I might conclude that there was some pressure. There was some pressure for them to have, to get a child. And if you look at it, probably the guy was unable or the lady was unable. So, each and every marriage, the way we say, they usually have their own problems, their own pitfalls, their issues and all that. So perhaps the lady was trying to save her marriage. But then now, here comes a situation where she tried to fake the entire pregnancy for a whole term. And then now, anakuja home with another baby. It just shows, according to me, the level of desperation the lady was in to have a child. Because in an African setup, if you don't have a child, we all know the kind of mockery you go through. You've been
Especially
married
if
for
you're
5
married.
years. Yes. You'll be called all manner of names.
And let me tell you something. This reminds me of another incident I came across a while back. There's this thing called pseudo-pregnancy or a phantom pregnancy. And this is where a woman's desire to have a child is so deeply rooted in their mind to a point where they actually convince themselves that they're pregnant. And in doing so, their body actually starts exhibiting the signs of being pregnant. Your belly will bulge, your hormonal, there will be hormonal changes and all. And after 9 months, you will actually exhibit all the symptoms and all the ups and downs that come with pregnancy. But up until a scan is actually done, that is when it can be diagnosed, and it's actually a psychological condition. There is a woman who had a pseudo-pregnancy with triplets. Yeye alijua akona triplets. She went to clinics, analetea mzee, and the funny thing, in most of these cases, it's always the woman who goes to the clinic alone, alafu anakuja na the ultrasound pictures, anamuonyesha ndio hawa watoto. For 10 whole months, hadi siku ya kwenda clinic, siku ya labor akapata contractions, went into labor, but before the doctors could operate, ndo waliangalia, ude majakuwa kikuja clinics hapa. But she looks expectant. Blood works, wanafanya ultrasound, they can't see anything. The levels to which the demand to have children, especially when in a marriage setup, pushes some women, it's crazy.
Perhaps that's what pushed the lady to do the unthinkable. Because after night, and by the way, ladies are good at planning. They can plan. And perhaps she wanted to send a message to the gentleman. You're married for 5 years, you don't have a baby. Maybe they've been trying to get one or even 2, but then ilishindikana. So she wanted to pass a message that either we go the medical way, maybe wamejaribu imeshindikana the way you're putting it, but then now, according to me, the lady was so desperate to have one. So I think that's why the gentleman was also so lenient on her to see,
Victor, I totally...
You need to be pregnant to understand what it takes to fake a pregnancy.
Not even that. I'm going on the interpersonal relationship that these two have. We have been married for 5 years. There is pressure, yes. And the pressure is falling on me. You see that I'm doing everything that I can to fake that I'm pregnancy. And Victor, we're in a relationship and you actually let me live the life for 10 years?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't deny that, Regina.
What
I don't
kind
deny.
of
I really don't deny
relationship?
that.
Imagine if she had gone and killed, not actually bought. Killed someone to bring this baby home, right?
Yes.
You would lose her for life. Did you really love that woman? Did you?
Regina, I'm connecting what you're saying to what pushed the lady to do that.
Yeah.
I really understand what you're saying.
And now she's in police custody.
You
because
get
he
it?
turned her in.
Yeah, I really understand what you're saying, but I'm just trying to say whatever pushed the lady to do that is that pressure. You know, to fake it for 9 months. Ni kama alitafuta mtoto for long. I mean, I don't deny that there was a complete disconnect between the couple. There is.
I think men should also own the process. You should also come out and own the process when it comes to, you know, issues of reproduction. It's not just about me as a woman in the relationship. It's not about me. Am I fertile enough? I mean, there are other issues that you could be dealing with. The man might have a low sperm count, you know, or erectile dysfunction, but also the pressure always falls on the woman. Men, you need to stand up and get counted. If you're with a person and you're planning, as Doreen has said, you want to live your life, you're together, your lifetime together, have these conversations, go for those checkups together, so that even when the pressure comes, it's not felt by one individual, it is felt by both of you, and you know how to deal with it. Now see, this lady is going to go to jail.
Now, I want us to move on to the next story. And this one, I also have very mixed feelings about this. I don't know, what do you guys feel about landlords coming into your houses?
Bridge of
for inspections, those random inspection nataka kuangalia. Are you pro that or against that?
So wrong. That is so wrong.
You don't agree with it, Doreen?
How?
Ray?
No.
Vic?
Hapo ni kwako.
Yes or no?
Unalipa hiyo rent. Hai.
Victor sema yes or no.
Okay, what's the story?
Maishia. Wewe si mdakui mzuri.
Ana kill vibe.
All right. So there's a video that has been doing rounds on social medias. This is what's happening somewhere in the States, where, you know, they just set up cameras in your own house for security purposes, CCTV. So this lady comes home, and on her house is kidogo disorganized, and it's not how you usually live it. First thought, alikuwa nadhani ni paranormal activity. Tukaombea hiyo maneno ikakuwa arrested. Ikasomersault back to hell. Now, then she decided to just check her CCTV. Daldem kuangalia, anaona landlord wake akaingia kwa hao yake, akaanza kutembea akishikashika maido anashikashika here there. Then he goes to her room, takes her pillows and starts sniffing them.
Aje sasa.
And this is your landlord.
Can you say that probably he was sniffing where the money is?
Pesa ziko chini ya pillow.
How wrong is this?
In her absence.
Of course.
Hi.
Wona, just going through your footage to understand what happened. Did I leave a window open, or was there a random cat that strayed into my house, or somebody's dog? Because you know how you leave your house. Unajuanga hata ukiacha umefunga hii kabati na upate imefunguka, unaangalia kwanza kama kuna tushaitula mahali.
Actually, it's quite paramount that anytime you walk into your house, first do that. It's called lap of honor. You walk around, check if how you locked your door properly. Are your things still intact? It's quite in order, even if you leave for a day. Because the question is, how did he even access the house?
You know, in the States, landlords have access to the tenants' houses, and this is for security purposes. Even when cops show up at your place, they will call the landlord or the the caretaker to help them access that door.
That's an intruder. But then getting to somebody's bedroom and start sniffing.
Kunusa pillow yako.
Please tusiende sana hiyo story. Ni udaku, lakini it's giving me all manner of vibes that people.
We can all imagine the kind of a person he is and the intention.
The guy is not okay. He needs a mental checkup. I think he has some psychological issues that he's dealing with. And because I have nothing more to say, let me just rather mention a few people who have tuned in and are responding to us on Twitter. We have Richard Muhia Boro, who says, honestly, I support that lady. He's responding to this topic that we were having. Yes, being childless is a big trauma. I still think to save the situation, if you're trying 3 years, the lady ajipange before her big goes for checkup. I have seen people really suffer. Doreen, way. Basically, he was contributing to what we were saying. Then Danson Mwandago says, show is on fire, imenifanya nikasahau, ni kama niko TBT, imenipeleka moja kwa moja hadi weekend, mpewe sifa. Thank you very much, Danson. Tell us, remember when you're watching, tell us where you're watching this particular program from. We also have Richard Muhia, who is asking, Ray Manyara, check Jane Wamboi, hiyo kofi yake iko sawa? Jane, you need to tell us if your coffee is okay, because there's a viewer who's worried that, you know. Okay, ni maji, Richard, she's taking water. So imagine if she took coffee or any other stimulant. Moving on forward, we have William Mwaburi, who says, good morning, Kenya. Watching from Watamu, the dynamic quadruple. You look good today. How are you? We are very, very well. Thank you very much. Everyone else who is watching, we have Mark Rubia, who says, he's talking about the issue of the hospitals and the bill that we were talking about, the proposed bill there. He says, that's deep, and I've had first-hand experience, and it could have actually gone south. I have had more than my fair share of the same. So he was just contributing to having that. There's Isaiah Ombura, who says, I'm watching live from Mombasa CBD. Thank you very much. We're also having someone here who is asking, mtakuja Uganda lini? That's a question tagged to our producers there, Martin and Ben Gui. Swali hii imeulizwa hapo kwa platform, tunaenda Mombasa lini? Uganda. I mean Uganda. I'm obsessed with Mombasa, yeah? Okay, summer and all that stuff. Then there's Gallant, who says, good morning. It seems everybody's watching. Remember, we are live. You can get us on Twitter at KBC Channel 1 News, at Ray Manyara, at Doreen Arange, at Victor Olo. Yes, everybody who is watching, including those who always watch us, especially our viewers from Nairobi area there, led by Jackson. Thank you very much for keeping us company. We are not done. Udaku Sesh is still ongoing. Tuendelee, Jane.
Anthony, kama tumekaribia kunyogwa time. Kunyogewa time. Tunamalizia. So Victor amesema ukiingia unafaa kupiga lap of water in your house.
Yes.
Scan the area. Ujue kama mambo iko sawa.
Yeah.
Sasa, as we get to close the show, we want to leave you with a few tracks. Na hii moja ni wakumbusha, mukae na sisi mpaka tupatane Madi. Jitagwa Jane Wamboi wa Kifira, oyo ni Victor Oro, oyo haha igoro ni Regina wa Manyara, na oyo goko ni Doreen Arage. We leave you with Stay With Me. Stay with me.
And all the sugar lovers, we are in the same boat.
All
the sugar lovers.
Get the VIP access to the best shows on KBC Channel 1. We have something different, something special to spice you up. Get ready for new, exciting and captivating drama.